cover today. Okay, I got two huge polls on Trump versus RFK Jr. that I'm going to start with, and then as the show goes on, I'll get into what's going on with the attacks on Israel. We'll cover all of that and take your calls on these things. But I'm watching the media just get so excited that RFK Jr.'s in the race. They're always running a scheme. I'm going to talk about this again on the air. They're always running a scheme that they think is going to get us to jump off the Trump train. So I'm going to get into that first. Oh, man. Nothing's going to get us off the Trump train, guys, is it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Welcome. If you're new, this is where MAGA comes to talk. My name's Brian, and you will love this channel. I promise you. Now it's time. All right, welcome. It is Tuesday, October 10th, 2023. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, and we've got a lot to cover today. Coming up, we'll get into all the latest developments involving the attacks on Israel, both the terrorist attacks and then as well as the left-wing Democrat attacks in this country. But first I want to start with all this obsession that the left have with Robert Kennedy Jr. You know, RFK Jr. announced yesterday he's leaving the Democrat Party and he is running as an independent, all right? And I watched his speech yesterday. I did. I watched it. Did you guys watch it? I didn't watch it live. I watched it later in the day. And, you know, I like the guy, even though he's a Democrat, you know, maybe an independent, but he's still a Democrat. I like the guy, and I agree with a lot of the things he has to say. However, is he really presidential material, Robert Kennedy Jr.? I would not mind him being like the czar in charge of all of the Kennedy assassination declassification documents when Trump comes into a second term. But when I saw his speech, Robert Kennedy yesterday, it was not a president. I'm sorry. I mean, he's, you know, I like the guy. I'd shake his hand. I'd never vote for him. Certainly not against Trump. Okay, there's just not going to happen. But I'm watching the media yesterday, and a bunch of loons on social media, and as always, they've got some new scheme that they're running that they think is going to get us to abandon Trump. And yeah, this is what they always do. And they have in their mind, and they started this a week or so ago, they just started talking, oh, well, you know, Robert Kennedy Jr. is going to run as independent. That's surely going to hurt Trump. It's going to pull votes away from Trump. Where did he get that information from? Who is on the Trump train? Who is MAGA that would not vote for Donald Trump and vote for Robert Kennedy Jr.? That's insane. So I have two polls here that you will hear first on this program involving this very question. And I conducted these polls on my YouTube channel. You know, my YouTube channel, which you all should be subscribed to and following, because I put so much content on YouTube, do weekend shows and live streams just like this, taking calls and everything. Brian Craig Show on YouTube. I did two polls on this very question in my YouTube community. And the first one was this question: who are you voting for in 2024? And there were three choices: Trump, Kennedy, and Biden. And that poll has 3,200 responses. And you can still vote in that poll. But 3,200 responses to that poll. I'll give you the results shortly. Now, that is many times the number of people that are polled in almost every single poll you see on network television or in the fake news, cable news, corporate media culture. Most of their polls have 12 to 1,300 people polled. So I've got 3,200 in that one. Then I had a second poll. Now that Kennedy is running as an independent, who will his run affect the most? There were two choices. Will it hurt Trump? Will it hurt Biden? That poll that I conducted on my YouTube channel has 4,000 responses. So the first one has 3,200 responses. The other one, 4,000 responses. And obviously, because this is from my YouTube community, these are people that are MAGA. And some people may say, well, that's a biased sample. Well, the false narrative that they're trying to promote is that Trump supporters are going to abandon Donald Trump to vote for Bobby Kennedy. So the only people you want to poll is the MAGA community on that to find out if that is true. Right? So, yeah, it's a biased sample, but it's the sample with that particular narrative they're pushing is the only sample you want to talk to. And not everyone that follows and watches me is MAGA. You hear some of these lunatics that I talk to on the phones. So the first question that has 3,200 responses, and by the way, you can go and join my YouTube community and everything and vote in these polls. And if as there's shift in movement, I will update these during the show. But I put these polls up. The first one 11 hours ago, the other one 10 hours ago. Okay? So they've been up there a long time. So the first poll, who are you voting for in 2024? 3,200 of my followers responded. Trump, Kennedy, and Biden. 2% say Biden. 3% say Kennedy. And 95% say they are voting for Donald Trump, even with Robert Kennedy in the race. And I'm seeing these morons on television. Oh, Ross Perot! Remember Ross Perot? Ross Perot was brought in as a conservative candidate, and he took votes away from George H.W. Bush, Bush 41, not Clinton. Clinton, we wouldn't even remember Bill Clinton if Ross Perot was not put in that race by the deep state, okay? Bill Clinton won with a minority of the vote because of Ross Perot. Ross Perot he was a conservative, took votes from Bush in that campaign in 1992. So I don't know why they think Robert Kennedy is going to take votes away from Donald Trump. So 95% say Trump, Biden, or Kennedy. 95% say they're voting for Trump, even with Kennedy into the race. And I put this poll up after the big announcement yesterday. The second question, now that Kennedy is running as an independent, who will his run affect the most? And right now, over 4,000 have responded to that poll. Now that Kennedy is running as an independent, who will his run affect the most? There's two possibilities. Will it hurt Trump? Will it hurt Biden? 10% say it'll hurt Trump. 90% say it will hurt Biden. So that tells you right there that the MAGA base of President Trump is standing strong and standing firm. That and anyone who is pushing that the Robert Kennedy race is going to hurt Trump and not Biden is either a liar or stupid. And I'll continue to monitor this poll as the show goes on, and if there are updates to it, I will certainly bring those to you. But I'll review this poll and recap it as the show goes on, because I think this false narrative we're going to start to hear real quick. If it wasn't for the Iranian terrorist attacks on Israel, the media would be 100% all talking about how Kennedy's going to hurt Trump. And my poll right here, with mostly a MAGA polling sample, tells us Trump's got nothing to worry about. In fact, Biden does. All right, our number's toll free. 1-888-GO-CANE1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. My name's Brian. It is Tuesday, October 10th, 2023. When we get back, I'll get into the latest on the Iranian terrorist attacks against Israel. But I do want to hear your thoughts on this Robert Kennedy polling that I did. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Middleman Eye, your trusted eye practice for cataract surgery. Listen to this Google review.
I just had my cataract surgery, and Dr. Middleman did an outstanding job. I was extremely nearsighted my entire life, but the new trifocal panoptic lenses he inserted allow me to see more clearly than ever, and no more glasses or contacts.
Middleman Eye, 2 locations in Jupiter Gardens and West Palm Beach. Call 561-500-EYES. Online at middlemaneye.com. Call or text the Middleman Eye Center today at 561-500-2020 to make an appointment in West Palm Beach or Jupiter. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel old. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging product, Dr. Fitch Matez at the Bio Station in West Elmwood. The hormone replacement therapy. Hormone replacement therapy is all natural. What it does is restore your hormones to where they were.
Just looking for an article that I wanted to talk about. Hey guys, welcome. Unreal.
Hi, this is Maureen Cohen from Nutrition World Palm Beach Gardens. We're so excited to be celebrating 50 years here in South Florida. The Cohen family started their first health food store in 19...
I tell you, the anti-Semites are coming out of the woodwork now.
Family-run health food stores in the area. We carry thousands of supplements like vitamins, minerals, herbs, homeopathic, alternative fitness, and so much more. All your favorite top-quality brands. We also have tons of natural foods like gluten-free, paleo, and organic.
All right, we'll be coming back here shortly.
Foods and more. Visit Vanessa, Trish, Benson, Scott, and Bruce. They're here 7 days a week for all your family's natural health needs.
I think my poll says it all.
At the northeast corner of Beach Boulevard and Prosperity Farms Road in the Carmine's Market Plaza by the Prosperity entrance. You can call us or text us anytime at 561-626-4377. That's 626-4377. Or check out our website at nutritionworld.com. Come see us 7 days a week at Nutrition World Palm Beach Gardens.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching.
Well, especially when they're the same party. He's an independent in name only.
Neuropathy symptoms. Call
He's a Kennedy. He's a Democrat. It's in his DNA.
consultation. 754-222-6642. Tell them Steve
Here we go.
Kane sent you.
In the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies FLA.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. It is 18 minutes after the hour, Tuesday, October 10th. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Are you planning on retiring in the next few months, the next year, the next few years? Are you planning on retiring at some point in your life? I think we all are, at least plan on a semi-retirement. Or are you already retired? Well, I think that covers everyone in this audience. Either you're retired, you'll be retiring soon, or you're planning on retiring at some point in your life, or at least semi-retiring. Well, you want to get in touch with Jupiter Joe Thomas, and he's got an amazing offer that he's at no charge to listeners of our radio station. He's a financial expert. He hosts a program right here on True Oldies, and he's got 2 offers for you. One, he's offering his book, The Retirement Know-It-All, for free to you. The Retirement Know-It-All, it's Joe Thomas's book. He's offering it for free. If you go to his website, jupiterjoe.com, and click on the book link, you can get Jupiter Joe's Retirement Know-It-All book for free. I've read this book, and it's a quick and easy read that's filled with all kinds of incredible, actionable information. So the first thing that Joe Thomas is offering is his book for free. So do that. And also, he's offering a free phone consultation. He's a financial expert, and he's offering free phone consultations with you. And no matter where you're located, here in South Florida, the Treasure Coast, or America, you can call and take advantage of the free phone consultation. You can also, I'm going to give you his phone number. You can call this number for both the free book and the free phone consultation, or go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. But here's his number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. All right, so we're starting to see all kinds of weirdness, and the anti-Semites are starting to come out of the closet. And, you know, usually when Israel is under attack, okay, when Israel is under attack, usually the anti-Semites are out there right away. But I was telling Steve yesterday, what slowed them down a little bit is the footage from that music festival. And I watched another video that I had not seen. You know, that music festival, which had a house DJ that was going on until after the sun came up the next morning, was for people in their 20s. And I was talking about this yesterday. And this is as brilliant as these anti-Semites on NBC News and other places want to tell us that Hamas and Hezbollah are. Media-wise, they made a big mistake with this one. So because they hit the music festival first, that was the target of the invasion of Israel, because it was a music festival, mostly with people in their mid-20s, everyone was filming it on their phones, the music festival. And I saw a new angle that I had not seen before. There was someone from behind the DJ on the stage, and that DJ, I've never seen a DJ so full of energy at 6:30 in the morning. It was crazy. I remember those days when I was younger and I was not married, and I'd go to clubs until the sun came up, you know. But I saw an angle from behind him that began the attack from another direction. There were literally hundreds of videos of the murder of these young people at the music festival and the kidnapping of them. And it's hard to watch, but you got to watch it so that you can appreciate what Israel's going through. And everyone's having such a great time partying with the DJ, and then boom, the Iranian terrorists come over, start murdering people. I saw one where one of them was trying to hide underneath a car. And one of these Iranian terrorists came over and just executed them and walked away like it was nothing. And there's literally hundreds of videos from all different angles that you can imagine, because everyone was filming on their phone for their Instagram story and everything else. And because there's such a visual of what these monsters were doing, the typical anti-Semites in the mainstream American media, they have to at least sound a little pro-Israel right now. They don't want to, but they have to, because the footage is dramatic. Now, Hamas says they're going to kill a hostage for the bomb if Israel bombs. God help us all if the Iranian terrorists start killing the hostages. Everything that we are experiencing right now in this world is a direct result of an action of Joe Biden. And there's a bunch of anti-Semites that are coming out. There's one that's, you know, the media are just disgusting. Have you seen this story about the porn actress, the Muslim porn star? Have you seen this one, Mike? Her name is Mia Khalifa, and she's an American Muslim porn star. And, of course, she came out and, you know, she supported the Palestinians in their unprovoked attack, terrorist attack on Israel. And the media are running with this story I guess I'm doing it too, but I just want to show you how twisted things get when this happens. Playboy, now Playboy apparently has some online porn thing that they do. Playboy terminates relationship with Mia Khalifa, the Muslim American porn star, after she made what they describe as disgusting and reprehensible comments celebrating Hamas attacks in Israel and the murders of innocent men, women, and children. They've deleted her Playboy channel. So what have they done, the media, by doing this? Okay, what have they done? I don't have to worry about this happening to you people in this audience because you're good conservative people and you won't do what they're doing. What have they done? How many of you have never heard of Mia Khalifa? How many of you have never heard of her before? I never heard of her before. But now she's in every publication in America. So what is she going to do? Oh, this is the best thing that ever happened to her. They're giving the media are giving her a free commercial. So what is she going to do? She's going to go on OnlyFans now and make $5 million in the next month. Courtesy of, that's right, the mainstream media who have made her front and center on all the American media. And then when she's over there, then she'll be doing her porn, making $5 million this month, probably break her OnlyFans record. And while she's making porn and making $5 million this month, she'll be spreading her anti-Israeli, anti-Semitic hate. And the media, not only are they talking about it, they have huge stories about her in every media outlet I looked at this morning. They've given her a forum. Well, that's the kind of person that's supporting the terrorist attacks on Israel. Porno girls. That's who they're making the face of the movement. All right, now we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour, and there's a lot more to share. You know, the media are just disgusting. One thing is consistent about the liberal media and Democrats in this country. They're anti-Semitic. Democrats have always hated Jews, all right? This is not new. We just haven't had something like this happen in a long, long time, all right? Not at this level. So it's been a while since these monsters in the mainstream media and in the Democrat Party have showed their true colors. Their true colors are they're anti-Semites. They hate Jews. I don't know why. I don't think anti-Semitism is something that really can be explained, okay? I mean, it's just an anger, a hatred. I don't know why they do. And many, by the way, of these Democrats that are anti-Semitic are Jews themselves. And I know that doesn't make a lot of sense to people, and it's hard to make sense of it, but you're dealing with liberal loons like Rob Reiner. All right. Let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Now, hey guys, don't forget to order your Mighty MAGA line. I've been hearing from so many of you that have received yours. Got another batch that went out yesterday, another batch going out today. I'm becoming a regular at the post office. Go to MightyMagaLion.com and order yours. There's a link in the video description. And the Mighty MAGA Lion is available only through me. This is a custom-made, exclusive, limited edition product. And you know, out of all the different Trump items, bears and everything else, Mighty MAGA Lion here is the only one wearing the MAGA hat. And yeah, my cat was playing with the Mighty MAGA Lion this morning. I don't know, are there any cat hairs on? The cat loves the Mighty MAGA Lion. She was all curled up with it, like hugging it and like, argh, you know. So yeah, isn't he awesome? So order yours, MightyMagaLion.com. MightyMagaLion.com. Okay, all right. I appreciate that. Oh, but it makes a great Christmas gift. This is disgusting, this article. I mean, the anti-Semites are coming out of the closet. Yeah, she'll become the spokesperson for Hamas in America, that girl.
Get your tickets now for exciting live events in the Paddock. Enjoy dinner and a show with the Rat Pack now on Friday, October 20th. Let It Be, ultimate tribute to the Beatles on November 17th. And Chris McDonald's Merry Christmas.
Oh, yes,
December
yes.
15th.
Yeah, my wife Kathy has put a thank you card in all the boxes, yes. From her, me, and Dee.
For more information, go to ppkennelclub.com. Now, one of the world's most prestigious private classic car collections is open to the public. The Dower Museum of Classic Cars in Sunrise. 38,000
Oh man, oh man.
vehicles, many one of a kind, and all restored to their original splendor. More than cars, the Dower collection also celebrates countless other American
Got so much to cover today.
Bring the whole
I'm going to maybe take a call or two first before I bring up anything new.
tickets. Visit dowercars.com.
How could anyone show sympathy with terrorists? Liberals always showed sympathy with terrorists. Always. Historically. They've always done that. That's just how liberals are.
If you're suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention. As we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Darren Lestovsky, DC, owner of Pivotal Health Solutions. Dr. Lestovsky, what is neuropathy? And what are the symptoms?
Yeah, we picked up a new radio station this week. We're now broadcasting in Miami all the way to through the Keys, the Florida Keys. I don't know if the radio station wants me to promote that yet or not.
First 25 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Space is limited. Call 561
So I got to wait to talk about it on the air.
561 287 3255. Free screening is a $149 value. Patients, including the person responsible for payment, has the right to refuse to pay. Cancel payment for any service, examination, or treatment that is performed as a result of and within 72 hours of responding to an advertisement for a free discounted fee or reduced fee service, examination, or treatment. Brian Craig here with a question for seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a healthcare advocate at the touch of a button? Would that make life easier for you? You can with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will help you set up doctor's appointments, out with your pharmacy, even deal with your pharmacist to make sure that
Yeah, I got a coverage area with the map. Let me see if I can find it. They emailed it to me last week. They updated our legal ID at the top of the hour, including the new station. If I can find it, I'll show it to you guys. But I don't know if they want me talking about it on the radio yet because I know they're doing some work on the transmitter for that station. I'll find it at some point here. I get so much email. That's why I tell you guys to DM me on social media, on Twitter in particular. Plus all the spam advertisement email, which I hate. Okay, I'm on Friday now. I'll find it. Maybe not this break.
Back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's Tuesday. Iranian terrorist on the move, killing Jews in Israel. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian?
Yes.
Oh, hi, it's Berta. I'm sorry, I'm calling again today.
That's okay.
I, I just hung up with my sister about 20 minutes ago, and she told me that they're censoring a lot of things here in America. They're actually filming the torture and everything of the Israelites.
Well, that you don't really want to watch that. You know, I remember back in the War on Terror when Al Qaeda would behead people and they would release it, and I saw one once, and I'll never watch anything like that again. I don't think you want to see that.
You know what shocked me though, Brian, which is kind of concerning? She called a little upset because, these things do upset us, and everything. She called and she says, why is America funding this?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? We're not funding. Oh yeah, y'all helped Iran and Iran funded it. So the world
That's right.
There's thought about us that we also had something to do with this.
Well, we did. We are funding. I mean, listen, apart from the $6 billion that Biden gave to Iran, I'll just go in reverse order. Even if the money hasn't cleared yet, okay, because maybe it hasn't. But what have they done? They set word out that we pay big money for hostages. So they took a bunch of hostages. But one of Biden's first actions when he became president, one of his first actions was to restore U.S. funding of the Palestinians, which Trump had stopped. So, yes, we have funded this entire attack against Israel. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. But Brian, do you think that the whole world's going to go against us too?
Well, the whole world's always been against the Jews. Okay, the world's against Israel. The only reason they haven't been as vocal about it, as I was talking about, is the footage from that music festival. So they have to slow it down. That's why they got the porno girl being the Palestinian spokesperson in America today. They got to get people used to it.
She called me upset because she saw the video of a little kid that's 7 years old, an Israelite that they took, is 7, 8 years old, and the Palestinians threw him in a group of like teenagers and that are training. They train them.
Mm-hmm.
And he threw him in there, and he says, "Now, keep punching him and hit him until you kill him like an animal."
Oh my goodness! I'll tell you that one of the things. Yeah, well, it should, and the Israelis. A lot of Israelis have safe rooms in their house. They plan for being attacked all the time, and some of them have safe rooms. And these terrorists that were going house to house, some of them, they would go to these houses and the people were in the safe rooms. The families are in the safe rooms, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, and the babies. And the safe rooms are so good, the terrorists can't get into the safe rooms. So you know what they've been doing? You know what the Palestinian terrorists have been doing when that happens?
What happened?
They've been burning the houses down. They set the house with the people in the safe rooms.
Wait, I don't know what they have in their heart. It just breaks my heart, and I've been praying nonstop because even though I try to do something, it just upsets me, And it's like I told my husband, have you ever thought that the way they attacked and they came in those para things, and I mean, it was land, air, and sea. I said, do you think that could ever happen to us? And he goes, well, if Biden keeps in office and weakens us enough, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is, right now would be the perfect time for China to invade Taiwan.
Oh, yeah. We'll probably pay for that, too. Well, we would be paying for it because we buy all our crap from China. So we'd be paying for that, too, just through our Amazon purchases and Walmart purchases. Listen, we've got an evil man as president right now, Joe Biden. We've got evil, and corrupt. But don't watch these videos like that. You don't need to see it. You don't need to see it.
A human being could be like that with another person. They were shooting them like anything that moved. They said they were shooting anything that moved. It was like Rabbi David said, it was a Holocaust.
Yeah, and here's the thing. They're showing these maps of Israel. Look at how much of Israel that Israel gave away to the Palestinians. Gaza. There's another section, and Gaza. They gave Gaza to the Palestinians almost 20 years ago, And I remember it was a very, Israel used to control all of Gaza, and they bent to the pressure from the anti-Semites and the politicians, and they gave Gaza to the Palestinians. And I remember at the time, the defenders of Israel said, now they're going to have a launching pad to attack Israel, and they've been launching attacks since, but now they've launched a major invasion and murder spree against the Israelis, against the Jews from that area. And
everyone in the globe, because they're talking about our gas again is going to go spike up to get our gas. It's just, this is a whole ordeal that didn't have to happen, but
it's twisted.
We funded it. Yes. Okay, Brian, I'm sorry I have.
That's okay. That's okay. The restriction is just once per day. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Ben from Popping.
Hey, Ben.
So I think there's just so much to say about this and how it all ties back to Joe. He's known as a foreign policy expert, right? But now we have almost three continents about to plunge in war between China and Taiwan, Ukraine and Russia, and Israel now. This man hurt us by making it. Iran, first off, he funded them. Everyone knows that. But he funded them in a more indirect way through oil, because they sell oil at top dollar because we stopped being a major exporter.
Mm-hmm.
So this is also how they finance. Another thing, too, he had a spy ring, a literal spy ring of Iranians in his White House. Robert Malley, he's now under investigation. He was going to be the special envoy to Iran, and they got him on releasing classified documents, and they're investigating him for that. Not only that, is the Democratic Party supports this ideologically.
Well, not only, if you remember when President Trump took out the Iranian, when I've told you guys, if I interviewed Trump, there would be a handful of questions I would ask him that no one's asked him about. This is one of the questions. I've never mentioned this before, but I'll tell you guys, and this is one of the things I would ask President Trump if I were interviewing him. When President Trump, I'd ask him to confirm what I'm going to tell you. When President Trump took out that Iranian general who was organizing all the terrorism, Soleimani, he did not tell Congress, and it was a big deal. And I think he didn't tell Congress because he was afraid Ilhan Omar and Tlaib would tell the Muslim Brotherhood and the terrorists before it happened. I think that's why he didn't tell Congress.
Yeah, imagine that. A guy who with, no quote-unquote background in foreign policy, and what do they repeat constantly? Oh, do you really want Trump with the nuclear codes? He's going to start World War III. That's all they talked about after he drone strikes Soleimani. And now look, how close we are to World War III because of Biden, the so-called foreign policy expert. And then they ridicule us when we don't believe
Yep.
All their experts are a political class.
That's right.
Routinely wrong.
Well, listen, I got to run, but thanks for the call. You made good points. And last night when I was podcasting with my wife, I asked my wife, I said, because we live in a MyPillow house. I have more MyPillow products probably than Mike Lindell. And I said to my wife, what's your favorite MyPillow product that we have in this house? And we have almost everything. And I bought everything too, by the way, using the promo code Kane at checkout, KANE. You can save up to 80% off items at mypillow.com with our promo code Kane. So I said to my wife, what's your favorite MyPillow product? She, without hesitation, she said the towels. And the towels are amazing. And, I told you guys, I spilled a big, huge 16-ounce cup of coffee in the hallway of my house out in front of the guest bedroom. It was hot coffee, and it had cream in it. It was a mess. And I reached into the guest bathroom. I grabbed one of our white MyPillow towels and just threw it down on top of the coffee. 16 ounces. I did not even had a sip of it yet. I picked up the towel. The tile floor was dry as a bone. Not only did the towel, these MyPillow towels are amazing. Not only did the MyPillow towel absorb all of the 16 ounces of coffee I spilled on the floor, I took the towel immediately to the laundry room, which is in our garage, to wash it because I used the white towel, and the white towel was now tan because it was coffee with cream. And it held all of the coffee in it. It didn't drip all the way to my garage, to my laundry room. You know when you get a towel and it's soaked with water and you pick it up and the water's dripping out of it? That's not a good towel. The MyPillow towel absorbed it and held it. Then I washed it and dried it, and guess what? All the coffee was out of it after I washed and dried it. It didn't even stain the white MyPillow towel. Isn't that amazing? Absolutely, it's amazing. Now, again, you can take advantage of all the specials at mypillow.com with our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. But the MyPillow towel set, right now, there's a great deal. It makes a great Christmas gift for yourself, your spouse, or anyone on your gift-giving list. The MyPillow 6-piece towel set, and it comes in 3, 6, 9, 10 different colors. They have some new colors, just $39.99. $39.99 with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code KANE. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Hi, it's Scott Simmons from Florida Weekly. This week we mark Breast Cancer Awareness Month with stories of new medical advances and hope for those with the deadly disease. Core Ensemble performs shows with a theme of social justice, and Loggerhead Marine Life Center.
So yeah, we've added a new station, a new radio station that takes us, so I'll show you guys. And like I said, I don't know if they want me to announce this on the radio yet, so I'm not gonna, I gotta ask. But
if you're a homeowner, business owner,
this is South Florida. That's Lake Okeechobee. That's West Palm Beach, which I'm a little bit north of right now. Okay, Hope Sound, Jupiter, West Palm Beach. West Palm Beach, that's where Mar-a-Lago is. And with our new radio station, we go all the way down. That's downtown Miami and South Beach. And down here's the Florida Keys, Key Largo and the Florida Keys. So we now go all the way down through Miami and the Florida Keys. Pretty exciting. That's the new signal map that they gave me. Okay, see the Lake Okeechobee there? I'll give you a point of reference. So that's pretty cool. It's a big expansion. Now, oh. Yeah, I'm going to go over that poll again at the top because I think it's pretty good. You can still vote in that poll of mine in my YouTube community. Let me get the latest on it. Let's see, we've got 3,300 votes in the first poll and 4,200 in the second. So I'll go through it again at the top. I'll do it I guess I'll do it maybe at the top of every hour today. Because they're spreading this BS that Kennedy's going to hurt Trump. I don't know, is he a lawyer, RFK Jr.?
Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. 48 minutes after the hour. It's Tuesday. I'm Brian Craig. Our number, 1-888-JOE-KANE-1. If you're new to the program, all the calls here are screenless, so when you call in, no one answers. I just put you on hold. We have someone here, Mike, our board op, who could answer the calls, but we take them all screenless, so no one answers, because I know a lot of people call, and then they hang up, and they call because they don't understand what's going on. No other show on the radio anywhere does this, okay? And we do, so that's why no one answers the phone when you guys call. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff.
Brian, you hit it on the nail. You know, I watched one of those beheadings of an American once, and it was so disturbing. I would never do that again.
Never.
They're doing to the Israeli people over there, and there's people filming that, and that should not be played publicly. It's so demeaning and disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
But the story needs to be told of the atrocities that they're perpetrating on innocent Israelis, because people need to know that what Israel's fighting.
Well, yeah. I mean, and it's a completely unprovoked attack. Completely unprovoked attack. They're attacked for being Jews. No other reason other than they're Jews.
I started watching that festival of dancing or whatever out in the desert, and they pulled up and just started mowing people down. I heard there was 268 Israelis killed in that one incident.
Yeah, well, Jews, because they're not all Israelis, because Jews from around the world are always traveling. Before we started doing our cruises every year, we were approached by someone to do a yearly trip to Israel, and we didn't do it because this was a number of years ago. There were attacks going on then, and Steve said, "How are we going to promote a thing where we take our listeners to a place where there's this? It's just not a safe thing to do, And they wanted this to take us to the border of Jordan and all this stuff. It sounded too dangerous. I didn't want to put our myself or our listeners in a situation like that. But it's dangerous to go over there. And this is what ticks me off, Jeff, so many things about it. And the Holocaust happened in large part to the level that it happened because the countries of the world, there was a time when Jews could get out of Germany after Hitler took over. And Jews were not welcomed in any country around the world, including the United States. Democrat President Franklin Delano Roosevelt would not allow Jews fleeing Nazi Germany into the United States, turned them away, and they went back and were killed. So Israel was established in 1948 for a lot of reasons, but the main reason Israel was established is so it was in the aftermath of the Second World War, the aftermath of the god-awful Holocaust, so the Jews had a safe place to go where Jews that were fleeing a Holocaust could go to, okay? And that's why Israel was established in 1948. So this idea that, two-state solution, and, the Middle East is rich in oil, but not Israel. Israel's actually a very poor country that has no natural resources. All they have is tourism. Right? They've got, it's the center of all the major religions, right? Christianity, Judaism, and Muslim, all the holy sites are there. And beaches, it's a tourist economy. They don't have oil or anything, and they've given a whole chunk of it to the Palestinians, and look what's happened. So this idea that Israel should give up land to these Muslim terrorists, there are Muslim Palestinians that live in all these Muslim countries. The only reason they're there in Gaza and all this is to harass the Jews. And if you remember, in the Second World War, you guys know Rommel, right? The German general. And you hear about all these battles that took place in North Africa between the Americans, the British, and the Germans. You ever hear any stories of the Germans invading North Africa? No. The Germans, the anti-Semitic Nazis, were welcomed by the Muslims in the Middle East, in Northern Africa. They were welcomed in by the Nazis. Why? Because they have a shared hatred of Jews.
And I don't know if you know this, but Bible prophecy in the Old Testament said X amount of days, and they added that up, and there was like 4 calendars they had to go through and adjust for. The day that Israel became a nation, in a day, was prophesied 1,000. It was a long time before it actually happened, and that then there would be a great influx of the return of the Jews to the homeland, and it's part of the end of this age that's coming. And Israel is still God's chosen people.
Well, yeah, and you're right. Yeah, go ahead.
Israel, God told Abraham, I will bless those that bless thee, I'll curse those that curse thee. And I believe the one reason America is so blessed is that the large majority of Americans support Israel.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, Israel should be it's called the Jewish state and all this stuff, but you know, they have Muslims in their parliament. They have Muslims in their government. Yeah, and I don't think they should. I think it should be a 100% Jewish state because, you know, I mean, where can Jews go to be safe? I mean, I'm looking at these Palestinian demonstrations in New York City. My goodness. I mean, that scared the daylights out of me, and I'm just watching it on TV. You see the Palestinians in New York City terrorizing people. I mean, my goodness. If you were a Jew in New York and you saw that, wouldn't you be terrified?
Look what the Muslims are saying in our country.
Yeah.
In our government, they shouldn't be in there. They're anti-American.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pro-Iranian, who's the state sponsor of terrorism in the world.
Well, it came out yesterday. The Palestinian leaders said that they're going to open up a second front in this war. What is that about? And where is that? Is that these military-age young men coming across the border? You know, Muslims can pass as South American. They just have to shave their beards and, you know, put on, you know, whatever kind of clothes they wear, and they look like Mexicans, right? You know, I mean, these military age, is the second front going to be in America? I don't know, but they said yesterday they're going to open up a second front, and the Palestinians released a training video of the training of the pilots in those ultralight aircraft. That was a military training operation. Who did it? It was Iran. Give me a break. Nonsense.
History will repeat itself, and that's proven over and over. And I believe Iran is the biggest sponsor for the Palestinians. What's Israel?
That's right.
I believe we're going to see Israel attack something.
And we are funding this entire attack on Israel, not just through the Iranian money that Biden gave them, and not just through the funding that, you know, we fund the entire Palestinian government, but also by Biden shutting down U.S. oil. He's driven oil from $40 a barrel when Trump left office to about $100 a barrel now. And every time you fill up your gas tank, there's Iranian, that came from Iranian oil at some point, a lot of it. And we're funding the terrorism taking place right now against the Israelis.
Weapons that Biden left in Taliban, for the Taliban in Afghanistan, I believe some of those rockets, I'll bet you are from America.
Absolutely.
And it's disgusting.
Absolutely. All right, Jeff, take care. Thanks for the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Sandra from Boca.
Hey, Sandra. Yeah, speak up a little bit.
Sorry about that.
That's better.
So, yes, yeah, according to like what everybody else was saying, you know, your previous callers, the things that I saw last night, you know, I just like saw a video of these people just looking out their window. Just pretend, Brian, you're in your neighborhood, you're looking out your window, you see militants like all over the place.
Terrorists. Not militants, terrorists. They're terrorists.
Terrorists all over the place. I just couldn't believe it. And this one guy who's a professor, I think he was on the phone with his daughter. And his daughter, the last thing she said to him, she was, they're in the house.
Oh, my God.
And he hung up the phone with her. Her and the husband and the 16-year-old were hiding. They shot both of them. The kid, they were shielding the kid, and the kid lived.
Wow.
The kid lived. So they died. The kid lived. It's just, you know, after the things that I saw last night, and I didn't see probably the most grotesque things. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's much more things out there that I'm really not.
And I got to tell you, I was watching some of the cable news yesterday, including Fox, and they are sanitizing much more than they need to the footage from the music festival. They don't want people to know how bad it really is over there.
I'm glad you mentioned that. They're dancing, right?
Mm-hmm.
To see them coming from a distance in the sky. You see like these little dots, and they're getting larger and larger and larger, and you hear the sound of rockets. And these poor Israelis are so innocent.
I saw that video. They couldn't hear. One of the survivors said the music, they couldn't hear over the music.
You know, there were some people that looked like they had concern. They started to walk off. They started to, you know, leave. But you just see these dots getting larger and larger and larger. And I'm just like, here they come. I'm not sure.
Yep.
It's just crazy, Brian. It's crazy. And I saw this other video where they kidnapped this guy, and he was bloody, but they kidnapped him. And this guy was hiding, pretending to play dead behind a car. Man, that guy just got him. They didn't show the actual footage of.
I saw that. He walked up and the terrorist, the guy was hiding behind the car, playing dead. The terrorist walked up with a rifle and just executed him. Yeah.
I just went into my room and prayed last night.
Well, listen, I got to run for the top. Yeah, you got to do it. All right, take care. We'll be back right after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Robe Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Robes, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the Oldest forecast.
Good morning, everybody. You're off to a great start. We're going to see partly cloudy skies today, a little more sun than yesterday, and a high of about 85 degrees. Not too much in the way of rain today, but we'll see widespread showers and storms starting Wednesday and lasting at least through Saturday. I'm going to keep you up to 9 first morning meteorologist Sam Shaw. Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Signal Plaza.
Now, guys, don't forget, the link is in the chat. You can get your free book, The Retirement Know-It-All. That's right. And you can get this book completely for free. If you're already retired, if you plan on retiring at some point in your life, even if you're retiring this week, Joe Thomas can help you. He's offering his book for free. Just click that link in the chat. I have a pin there. There's also a link in the description of the video. And he's also offering free phone consultations. No matter where you are in the country, I'm going to give you his number, which, by the way, you can get on the website too, but his number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. If you call that number, you can schedule a free phone consultation as well, no matter where you are in America. And he'll talk to you about your retirement, even if you're already retired. All right, so give him a call and support our sponsors, guys.
High hands, mega bad beat jackpots, and big money tournaments like the Moneymaker Tour. Coming back October 25th through November the 6th. You can also play your favorite casino games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum, 7 days a week. For more information, go to ppkennelclub.com.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News update.
ABC News now. I'm Tom Rivers. President Biden today will address the nation on Israel-Hamas war
Oh.
in Gaza. 11 Americans among the hundreds who've
Oh, Biden's going to...
U.S. citizens are likely among the hostages taken by Hamas. And there's worry about another terror outfit.
A senior U.S. defense official tells ABC News, "We are deeply concerned about Hezbollah making the wrong decision and choosing to open a second front to this conflict. The attack
Unreal.
threatened to undermine President Biden's foreign policy goals, derailing his efforts to broker a deal to normalize relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia."
ABC's Justin Finch in New York City last night. A vigil in support of Israel. Mayor Eric Adams particularly incensed by the killing of around 250 people at a music festival.
It will go down in the history as one of the most draconian, disgusting acts you can ever witness.
This is ABC News.
At Staples, you can count on every project being print perfect, guaranteed.
I need invitations and posters printed, and they have to be perfect.
I need beautifully bound booklets and presentations for my business.
Your invitations and booklets
Oh, my. This next story is just...
That's Staples Print Big Promise. And right now at Staples, save $50 off your print purchase of $150 or more. Try Staples and see the difference. It's 1014. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Carrie Lake's going to announce her Senate run today. She's got that one. That is a good run for her. I'll talk about this on the show today if we have time. If not, I'm doing a podcast. But the Democrats have split the vote. They got a guy running as a Democrat. Sinema is running as an independent. She's afraid she'd lose the primary to the Democrat. So then now Carrie Lake. So we're going to have Carrie Lake, Sinema, and this Democrat guy. I can't remember his name. It's unimportant. But the Democrats got a split vote there in Arizona. So that could definitely put Carrie Lake in the Senate. Would you rather have Carrie Lake in the Senate or as governor? I'd rather have her in the Senate myself. What do you guys think? Oh, it's great. I think she could do more in the Senate. Oh, yeah.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Celebrating 46 years on the radio this year, the Steve Kane Show. That's right. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I was listening to our top of the hour news, and they said that Biden's going to address the nation about Israel today and what's going on over there. Do you think he's going to explain why he paid for the whole attack on the Jews? Do you think he's going to come out and announce that he's cutting all U.S. foreign aid to the Palestinians? Is he going to say that that $6 billion, Iran, it's no longer coming? No, he's not going to do any of that. He's not going to do any of that. I've been talking the last couple days about how this is the first time Israel's been dealing with something like this in the new media age, with all the internet media. And I've been watching a lot of media coverage that I've never seen before. And I knew anti-Semitism was widespread in the American media. I did not realize how widespread it was in the international media. And I was watching the Canadian Broadcasting Company, their national network, and their coverage out of Israel. And they have Canadian journalists on the ground everywhere. And there was a word I did not hear. Didn't hear it. You know what word I didn't hear on the Canadian national news? And keep in mind, they've got reporters with the helmets and the flak vest on and everything. I didn't hear the word terrorist. I also did not hear the word terrorism. Not calling them that is anti-Semitic. Well, listen to this. An internal memo from the head of the Canadian Broadcast Corporation has become public. That's right. An internal memo has leaked out of the Canadian Broadcast Company instructing its journalists not to refer to the Hamas attackers as terrorists. That's right. Listen to this. The Canadian Broadcast Company's Director of Journalistic Standards, this is what the memo is. Listen to this. The organization Stop Anti-Semitism obtained this memo and leaked it out. The memo instructs reporters, these are their on-air reporters, to 1, not mention that Gaza has not been occupied since 2005. Now, the reason that these, I tell you, these anti-Semites, I don't understand anti-Semitism. I really don't. And it's in strange places. So, this monster anti-Semite executive telling his on-air journalist not to mention that Gaza has not been occupied in 18 years. See, they don't want their viewers to know that. They want people to think that Gaza is occupied and has been occupied as a justification for the attack and the slaughter going on right now. 2, do not refer to Palestinians as terrorists. Do not refer to militants, soldiers, or anyone else as terrorists. The notion of terrorism is heavily politicized. Do not describe 2005 as the end of the occupation, as Israel has maintained control over airspace, seafront, and virtually all movement into and out of the area, the internal memo reads. Really? If they control the air and the sea, how'd they get those ultralights, those terrorists? Use fact-based Avoid loaded qualifiers and anything that sounds like an opinion. Although they've already told you their opinion is there are no terrorists attacking Israel. And by the way, the network confirmed that the memo is real. Well, that's not unusual. The liberal media always side with the terrorist. Now, after 9/11, some of you may not remember this, but when I bring this up, it'll remind you. Do you know that CNN, ABC News, and other American news outlets, and I'm talking about the week of 9/11, when they were still going through the rubble looking for people that had survived. The week of 9/11, CNN, ABC News, and other American news outlets sent out a memo telling reporters, do not wear American flags on your clothing while you're on air, and do not show any pro-American viewpoints in your coverage from ground zero. CNN went even further and said, we're not an American news organization, we're international, and we don't want to show bias. The World Trade Centers had collapsed. They're digging, looking for survivors. And CNN doesn't want to show bias against the terrorists. ABC News would not allow their reporters to wear American flags on their clothing. They had the Concert for America that was organized and sponsored by ABC News. They wouldn't let Toby Keith perform. Remember, because his hit song at the time was The Angry American? They did a concert after night, and they wouldn't let him perform because it was bias. You know, when you have a serial killer like BTK, or they got this Long Island serial killer, he's the new guy, all right, on the block. You got this Long Island serial killer, it's okay to show bias against serial killing. And these terrorists are murderers. They only want you to not show a bias against it when it's Muslim terrorism that are killing Americans or Jews, or both. Okay? That's what happened after 9/11 with the American media. So, you know, and they'd be doing the same thing today if it wasn't for the video that we're seeing of the murders. This new one that I was talking to the caller about before the top of the hour, I'll just describe it one more time. There's a new video. There are hundreds and hundreds of videos from the music festival that are coming out because, as I said, everyone was filming the music festival. And sadly, a lot of the video has been found on the bodies of people that have been murdered by the terrorist. And don't call them militants either. Militants gives them legitimacy. It sounds like you're talking about soldiers. The newest video that is heartbreaking to watch is the one that I was talking to a caller about at the end of the last hour. There's a guy who escaped. He's playing dead next to a car, pretending to be dead, and one of these Iranian terrorists comes up with a rifle and executes him and walks away like it's nothing. But you're not supposed to call them terrorists. That shows bias. And don't inform people that Gaza has not been occupied in 18 years. They want their people to think that it has been occupied to give justification for this mass murder of Jews that is taking place. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Andrea.
Hey, Andrea.
You're talking about Joe Biden. This is what I think Joe Biden's going to do. He's going to walk himself out, if he can, onto TV today and tell Americans how he's going to send more of their money overseas. But this is what I also think the Democrats are going to do. They're going to use this situation just like they used a terrible situation to institute the Patriot Act.
Yeah.
Take more of your freedom and more of your liberty. That's what they're going to do because that's how evil they are.
Yeah. So they sent. So Biden sends the aircraft carrier off the coast, the Gerald Ford, which they say is the largest aircraft carrier in the world. What are they going to do with that? That's nothing. What are they going to do with that aircraft carrier? Nothing. Is Joe Biden going to come out today and say that we're cutting off all U.S. aid to the Palestinians? Think he's going to say that today?
You know why? Because we're going to run out of oil. He sent our oil to China.
He sold it to China by the way, he sold the oil to China, Joe Biden, to a company that Hunter hedge fund owns a piece of. So he sold it to himself.
Exactly. And he sent our weaponry to his friend in Ukraine.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Of course the big guy gets his 10% commission on all of this and all.
Of course, and remember that while you're suffering, you American peasant.
All right. Take care, Andrea. Appreciate the call. All right. We'll take the first break of this hour and be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside, everything.
Now, guys, listen, if you're new, make sure you subscribe, everyone. And everyone like the video, too. That helps spread the word a lot as well about the channel.
A mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
Hi, it's Scott Simmons from Florida Weekly. This week we mark Breast Cancer Awareness Month with stories of new medical advances and hope for those with the deadly disease. Core Ensemble performs shows with a theme of social justice, and Loggerhead Marine Life Center plans a season of activities for the whole family. Read these and other stories in Florida Weekly, available throughout Palm Beach County. Available online at floridaweekly.com.
Brian Craig here. When it comes time to get my blood work done, I don't have time to spend hours at the doctor's office or waiting hours in one of those big labs. That's why I go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs for all of my lab work. Their techs are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes.
Oh, man.
I get the results the next day in my email box, and they also send it to my doctor. There's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, and these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call Any Lab Test Now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies FM.
All right, welcome back. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve. Oh, boy. Now, before we get into callers on hold, stand by. An announcement, I mentioned this to you last week, Lighthouse Medical Center that rids you of all your neuropathy symptoms. And by the way, they still do that. They have something new for those of you that are hair deprived. Yeah, well, they also have a treatment for those that have lost hair to get your hair back. And I'm actually going to go over there in a couple of days and watch a treatment done to a patient so that I can learn a little bit more about it, so I can talk to all of you good people about this this treatment. But I remember, oh gosh, about 150 years ago when you had your hair transplant, Steve. And it was a long time ago. Yeah. And you know what I remember about that? That was a surgical procedure. And I remember it was outpatient. You got your hair transplants, and then you came into you came right from the hair transplant operation to the radio station and did a show. And and you were yelling at someone. Do you remember what happened? I do. Do you remember what happened?
No.
You don't remember? Okay, okay. So Steve had gotten hair transplants, and back in the old days with the major surgical operations, and you came right from the surgery to the radio station, started doing a show, taking calls from these liberal listeners of ours, and you were arguing with callers, and your head started bleeding. Do you remember that now?
I remember.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
It is.
Because it was surgery and the stress in your head, the sutures or whatever, you were bleeding and you didn't even know it. And there was blood all over your head and face. It was like Carrie is what it was like. Well, this it was. I'm not kidding, guys. I have a very good memory. I remember everything about other people. No, I don't have any pictures of that. But I do have yeah, I know, but I do have the memory. However, the new procedure for the new procedure they have over at Lighthouse Medical, it's none of that. It's not one of these big surgical things. So it's not surgery. So I'll go over and watch someone have the procedure done, so I can tell you about it in detail. But it's not invasive like the like that hair transplant surgery you had done so many years ago with stitches and all of that. Oh my goodness, it was really medieval. Yeah, but anyway, if you can call Lighthouse Medical Center. By the way, please, if you have neuropathy or know someone who does, call and get the neuropathy treatment. But you can also call them about their hair restoration procedure. The number is 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642, and online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, callers on hold, stand by. What do you want to do? You want to take calls? What do you want to do?
Let's take some calls. First of all, I'd like everybody, if you would indulge me, to take out your today's edition of the New York Post, and take a picture of these two little girl hostages, ages 5 and 3 years old. And if you're ever tempted to think ill of the Israelis, or to idealize with these phony facts facts in quotes that they're putting out, that ought to cure you real quick of any reality problems you're having.
Oh yeah.
Today's
Steve, I did not. I'll pull it up and look. The online edition sometimes is different than the print. I'll look it up in a minute. What these Iranian terrorists have been doing. I told this to a caller in the last hour, and this is god awful. A lot of Israelis have safe rooms in their houses. Like back in the 50s, people here in Florida after the Cuban Missile Crisis had bomb shelters. A lot of Israelis have safe houses. And as these terrorists are going door to door, busting in the houses, they've had difficulty getting the families out of the safe room. Safe room has mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa, and the kids. So if they can't get into the safe room, do you know what the terrorists are doing?
I hesitate to add.
They're lighting the house on fire, burning the house down while they're in the safe room. That's been going on.
Well, terrorists.
I mean, my God, but hey, but don't call them terrorists, and don't mention that Gaza hasn't been occupied for 18 years. After all, these monsters.
Announced that he's in bed today.
He's gonna address the American people about Israel today, and I imagine he feels this. No, but I imagine Joe feels the same way about Jews as he feels about black people. Right? I mean, he's racist. Yeah, and most racists are also anti-Semitic. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian and Steve. This is Bill from Sanford. What I don't understand, I am doing very well, Steve, and I hope you are too. I'm glad to hear that you're getting good treatment and feeling better. What I don't understand is, where do the news media get their bias from?
That's a good. I'll answer that question. Okay, I'll answer that question for you. Two places. They're liberals and they went to liberal colleges, and the liberal university system in the United States indoctrinates college kids to be anti-Semites. That's where they get it from.
because in the newspapers and on TV, there's no stories that connects Jews to like BLM, Antifa, shooting up schools.
No.
I can't remember where there's negative press on the Jews here in the United States. Where is it? So I mean, how do we know they are?
Yeah.
Where are they getting their sources from? Where's their? But probably right.
Democrats hate Jews. They've always been anti-Semitic. This is not new. Yeah. That's true.
For the average American, I hope they feel like I do.
Well, you know, I'll tell you, we have not had major stories like this out of Israel in many years. And there hasn't been something like at this level, I don't think, in my lifetime, at least not since I was a little kid, right? Back in the 70s, maybe, when I was a little kid. So what people are seeing for the first time is the face of anti-Semitism on American television from our reporters and journalists and anchors. And this is something they haven't had a chance to talk about Israel in a long time. They hate Jews more than they hate Trump, these people in the American liberal media. That's saying a lot.
I don't understand. American people.
Well, a lot of people try to justify it, and they'll say things like, and you'll hear people talk about, and they'll say, well, liberals always side with the victims, and the Muslims are the victims, and the Jews are the oppressors. That's intellectual gobbledygook. They went to school in liberal colleges, and the liberal university system is filled with communists and anti-Semites, and they learn in college to hate Jews. And many people that are Jews send their kids off to college, and they come home against Israel. They're Jewish kids come home from college hating Israel. It happens all the time.
Do you remember?
Yeah, Joyce Kaufman had that happen. Yeah, Joyce Kaufman sent her daughter. She came back. She went to one of the was it New York University. She came back for Christmas break, and she'd been to school like 2 months, and she was on the Palestinian side.
I guess you call that. She was demonstrating. It's funny to hear Joyce tell the story, but it wasn't funny to her at the time.
She probably doesn't tell it anymore.
I think it was
New York University. It was NYU.
Yeah. Well, that's a good place.
All right, take care. Yeah, I'll give you the last word, caller. We're up against a break. All right, his last word is he wanted to hang up first. Okay. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take our break and be back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Sponsored by Discover. If you like using debt over credit, shouldn't you also get rewarded? Glad you can with Discover Cashback Debit. It's a checking account that rewards everyone with cashback on everyday purchases with no fees, period. Check out eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Oh my goodness, guys.
A service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. It's showtime.
Yeah, again, guys, don't forget, get your free book, The Retirement Know-It-All. I pinned the link to the book at the top of the chat. You click that link, you can get this book from Jupiter Joe Thomas for free. The link is right there in the chat. If you're not watching live, there's a link in the description. And if you call him, no matter where you're located in America, you can have a free phone consultation with him. He's a financial advisor. If you're already retired or planning on retiring at any point in your life, even next week, you can have a free phone consultation with financial advisor Joe Thomas, 561 743 0999. 561 743 0999. And you can click that link up there at the top of the chat and get the book for free, guys. Pretty good deal. 2 free things. And of course, you're supporting all our content and show and our radio station when you do that, guys, and that's a good thing too.
Free nerve damage screening. Space is limited. Call 561-287-3255. 561-287-3255.
The free screening is a $149 value. The patient and any other person responsible for payment has the right to refuse to pay, cancel payment for any other service, examination, or treatment that is performed as a result of and within 72 hours of responding to the advertisement for the free, discounted fee, or reduced fee service, examination, or treatment.
Tom McCoy here from Lakota Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry for 40 years. We are originally from Connecticut, where our values and work ethic is second to none. We install all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingle, clay and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. We work with homeowners, HOAs, commercial properties, and churches.
The only existential threat to humanity.
Oh my goodness. Got a very, very busy day today.
This is Gabriel with Florida Cash Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house in South Florida and want to sell it fast for a great price, call me at 561-570-7070. I can pay cash and close in as little as 3 days or on your time frame. I can even pay you a cash advance before the closing. I'm a local cash buyer and I'm looking to purchase more houses. I buy all types of properties in any condition, any price range, in any situation. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I will even buy foreclosures and haunted houses. Woo! Do you
I
own a
think,
vacant
there we go.
house or one that is trashed and needs thousands in repairs? Great. I love buying fixer-uppers. Regardless of your situation, I understand that life happens, and I'm here to help you. If you own a home and want to sell it fast and easy, I'll buy it. Call me at 561-570-7070. That's 561-570-7070. 561-570-7070.
Are you living your best life? Are you feeling the way you know you should be? This is John, CFO at Lighthouse Medical Center. Our hormone optimization therapy programs have helped so many people get back to feeling the way they did in their 20s. They're full of energy after a long day, reduced their risk of heart disease, sexual vigor and excitement are great, sleeping the way they should without disturbances, and reducing their symptoms of aging. Our all-natural hormone optimization therapy is precise, easy, and effective from day one. Office visits are usually less than 5 times per year, and the cost is only $150 per month for most patients. Let our medical team get you optimized and living your best life. Our family medical practice has been serving South Florida for over 71 years. Let us show you what personalized medical care and being treated like family feels like. Call us at 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. Or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show. Brian Craig, celebrating 40 years on the air.
All right, callers on hold, standby. I'm Brian. Steve is here. And what do you mean, all of us? Which issue? A lot of suffering and misery, Steve. I mean, we've got a corrupt, senile old coot in the White House right now. So it's going to be a lot of roughness and misery until Trump's back.
Going on now?
Oh, no.
Shocked?
No. No. No, not at all. And you know what would shock me? Biden. Biden's going to address the nation today. If he announced that he was cutting off all U.S. funding of the Palestinians, and then I'd be surprised. I mean, we're paying for this, Steve. We're paying for this Holocaust against the Jews going on.
I mean, it's more than that. I mean, it's sad, but I mean, I've been saying to myself for a long time, is there a need? I mean, I'm like most people, at least most people I know, I'm trying to hang on till Donald Trump.
What other choice do we have?
Not only that, but I mean, what are the? Is anybody see us lasting that long?
We have to. I saw a story yesterday about these private mercenaries that are Americans, and they're going to go over there to rescue the American hostages. Just like Afghanistan. Yeah, private group. Biden. No, these are real guys. These are real mercenaries who they rescued a lot of Americans in Afghanistan when Biden pulled out and left people behind. Yeah, it's one of those same groups. These are retired U.S. military special forces, and they're going over there to rescue American citizens because Biden won't do it unless you pay him. Now, if you pay, and here's another thing. Here's another thing that's going on. Okay, it's be very interesting because when Jews are being killed, typically the anti-Semites in the Democrat Party are very vocal about it. But they've got some problems with this one. The one is all the visuals. By the way, I saw during the break the pretty little girls that have been kidnapped by these terrorists. Oh my goodness, it's all yeah. But the Democrats have two problems. One are all the video that we're seeing of the murders and the kidnapping, and more video is becoming public today. And the second one is Ukraine. We're supposed to go into the Third World War to defend an invasion against Ukraine, but here we have Israel being invaded, and they want us to tone things down and have a peace talks and have Israel negotiate with these murdering terrorists.
A government which appears to be, I hate to say it, dysfunctional. I mean, are these people going to even be able to throughout this mess, be able to choose a Speaker of the House?
Oh, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Do anything without a Speaker.
Well, that's Steve. That's not trtrue. I know they're saying that on TV. There's two things in play in the House, but can we take a couple calls first? Then I'll tell you about that. Remind me, and I'll tell you. I'll leave you and the audience hanging, but I'll get to that. But just remind me of the House, and I'll fill you in. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Louise, the masked lady in Boca.
Hey, Louise.
Hi. I just wanted your opinion. My opinion is if President Trump were in office, this would have never happened, and neither would Ukraine have happened. What do you feel?
Yeah, you're right.
I think that's true, but the worst part is I don't think anything's going to happen while President.
Well, nothing good's going to happen. Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't see it. I mean, I always had these unrealistic visions of, President Trump, running into the Capitol and saying, let's. Republicans are not, Republicans who support Trump are not speaking out too loud on this. They're taking a low profile because.
I know. I just feel this so strongly. They would never have messed with him. That's my feeling. And I wanted to ask, where's Richie, the bus driver?
Well, we had a spat because he was very nasty, and he's on strike, listening, waiting for people to mention his name if he's missed. Yeah. So Richie is not banned. He's just he doesn't think the show can survive without him. The longest running radio show in
Interesting caller.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of interesting callers over the years. Some of them have died. Some of them have moved on.
Richie's
But
a
he's
very
very-
interesting call, and
but
very
he-
interesting call. The first 200 times you hear him.
Yeah.
No, but he's colorful. He's very colorful.
Yeah, so is Rough Crab.
Yeah, but I liked when you said he doesn't think the show can go on without him, and you chuckled there, Mask Lady. I like that. That was good. That was the best part of the call. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. Oh my goodness. You're on the air. Yeah.
I mean, I'm
About what?
I mean, just think about what's been going on for the last couple. Well, it's been more than what's been going on at the southern border.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
We opened our doors to basically issue a personal invite from the president to come visit America.
Yeah. That's right.
Terrorist types have picked up on that.
I wouldn't be surprised if those Palestinians in New York yesterday with all the Palestinian masks on, that some of them came from the southern border passing as Mexican. You're on the air, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. This is Mike from Houston again. Hey, guys, please tell me if I'm calling too much, because I called in yesterday.
That's okay. The restriction, once a day with some exceptions, like Mike from Louisiana, once a month would be good. But, you're on the...
You guys key on something that I connect with, and I like to think that there's something I can contribute. There's one thing I want to mention about Columbia and New York University. And so yesterday you had 3 or 4 major universities in the United States that they came out in support of the Palestinian terror.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, now I want to point something out, especially about Columbia and New York University.
Columbia University, which by the way, Columbia, most of the people that work in the national news went to the Columbia School of Journalism.
Right. Okay, so Columbia especially was the epicenter of communist activity from the 1920s onwards. If you read Whittaker Chambers' witness, he goes into great detail of the origins and growth of the communist movement in the United States, and almost to the exception, every single leading individual in the Communist Party of the USA, either in the above ground party or the underground, were educated at Columbia University. That school comes up time and time again when you look into the pedigrees of these people. So what I'm getting at is Columbia University especially has a history.
Well, if you look, like in Cuba, the Cuban Revolution, led by Fidel, that started at the university in Havana. The universities have always been hotbeds of communist ideology, and that's people spend their whole lives saving up money. They send their kids off to college, and then they get programmed into communist anti-Semites. Happens all the time.
I want to point out, though, is that Columbia seems to come up time and time again as being like the epicenter of domestic political destabilization. Either it was through communism in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, or now it's through supporting Palestine. So what I'm saying is there's a trend here with some of these schools, and the fact that their administrations are not coming out and denouncing this support that's coming from the various student organizations within these schools, that's just as frightening to me.
Well, the faculty and leaders went to those same schools years ago, and they feel the same way. I mean, I remember when Ahmadinejad was the leader of Iran, Columbia University invited him as an honored speaker. And Iran says that Israel is a cancer that needs to be removed, and then they invite him to speak. Ahmadinejad.
Now, if the roles have been turned and any other ethnic, demographic, religious group, or whatever had been targeted like that, there would be denunciations. That they would be lining up to disappoint.
Listen. They hate Jews. Okay, Democrats always hate Jews. Liberals hate Jews. The left are obsessed with indigenous people in this country. You can't even name a football team, the Redskins. The Jews are indigenous to Israel. I know this because the Bible tells me so. And that is the one indigenous people that they want wiped off of their indigenous lands. Give me a break.
Yeah, and the funny thing about the history of Israel is nobody wanted that land until about the turn of the 19th century, when the European the Jews started to migrate down in there, and they basically made that into they with their own hard effort work. They made something out of it, and then suddenly.
Listen. Here's the thing. Okay, the reason Israel is a country today is because during the Holocaust, the countries of the world, including Franklin Roosevelt, would not allow escaping Jews from Nazi Germany refuge in their country. And Roosevelt and liberals around the country sent Jews back to the camps. It's a true story. Okay, this is not hyperbole. Okay, this is all. And so after the war, when the concentration camps, which the Democrats kept secret, they knew about them, became public. People said, "Hey, we need a place where Jews can go to avoid another Holocaust," and that's how Israel was established. Now they want the Jews wiped out there.
Yeah, it's frightening that in 80 years we have come full circle, and this gives you an idea of how education has been turned upside down. History.
All right, listen, we're up against a break. Take care. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
This is John from Lighthouse Medical Center, CFO and Director of Neuropathy. We want to welcome you to Lighthouse Medical Center this year. It's our 75th anniversary, and we've been able to help a lot of patients. We want to be able to help you with your neuropathy issues as well. You have numbness, burning, pain, tingling, lack of sleep, or balance issues. Please come see us and let us help you with that problem. There's hope out there for you. We've had thousands of patients come through Lighthouse Medical Center. Being able to see the quality improved in their life and being able to help them and their family has been a blessing to us and a blessing to them, and we look forward to doing that for the next 75 years. We don't just treat neuropathy at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have a specialized knee pain program with non-surgical solutions for bone-on-bone and knee pain issues. We also treat chronic back pain, ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder pain. Call for a free consultation with us today. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754.
Who's the guy on? Well, never mind. I remember a name I could remember. I just remembered it.
Dinner together every night, private cocktail parties, we'll go to Broadway shows together, and dance till the clubs close every night. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and book your reservation at 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire.
There's no solution to it because
give me a call. My number is
the Palestinians are always going to be there harassing the Israelis.
I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445.
Mumps. I didn't know that was still a thing. I remember alfalfa getting the mumps.
Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Oh, I wanted to play this soundbite, then I'll tell you about Congress, Steve. So Martha McCallum had Kirby on. You know that weirdo Kirby? That's the spokesperson at the White House. And Kirby is, by the way, Martha McCallum, she's a good-looking woman, but she's had some cosmetic work done, and her neck does not match her face. She has the face of like a 35-year-old and the neck of like an 86-year-old. And anytime I see Martha McCallum, she's doing something to try to hide the neck. I don't know. Do they have cosmetic procedures for the neck? Well, she should take advantage of it. Well, if we okay, the neck up. Well, I don't know. This is not a spot. We don't have someone that does cosmetic surgery on necks. But If you know someone who does, get in touch with us, and I'll tell Martha McCallum about him. She needs it. But anyway, Martha McCallum had Kirby on, and Kirby is a weird dude, Kirby. And I'll tell you what's weird about him. He was a Pentagon spokesman for many years. They moved him over to the White House because Jean-Pierre was doing such a poor job. So they had to bring in a white guy to help, Jean-Pierre out. And what's weird about him is that he's a retired naval admiral. Who retires being an admiral to become the spokesperson at the Pentagon? When you're an admiral at the Pentagon, everyone stands up when you walk in the room. When you got a girl's job, it's not this. It's very strange. There's something about that guy that's not right. So anyway, Martha McCallum, who hates Trump like the plague, she was one of the original Never Trumpers on Fox News. She had Kirby on last night, and she played a clip of Biden talking about the biggest threat is climate change. And this was last night. This is after, we've had the largest loss and massacre of Jews in a single day since the Holocaust. Listen, the clip starts with Biden talking about climate change, and then Martha McCallum with the neck comes back to Kirby, and Kirby's just a sick man. Listen.
The only existential threat humanity faces, even more frightening than a nuclear war, is global warming going above 1.5 degrees in the next 10 years.
Given all the nuclear players in these two areas where we are now engaged on, does the president stand by that comment?
Absolutely he does. Climate change is an existential threat. It actually threatens and is capable of wiping out all human life on Earth over time. I don't know how more existential you can get to that, but that doesn't mean that we walk away from our obligations or our national security interests in very dangerous parts of the world.
John, he said it was more frightening than a nuclear war. It's more frightening than a nuclear war in this moment?
The president believes wholeheartedly that climate change is an existential threat to all of human life on the planet. That's just science. That's a fact, Martha. But it doesn't mean that we turn our back on the other challenges facing this country and our allies and partners around the world.
Okay, Jews being killed. He calls that a challenge to overcome. Mike, these are sick people running this country, Steve. Sick, twisted people. We've never had people this bad running this government, ever. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Terry, Brian.
Yep, what's your name again? I'm sorry.
Terry, Arizona Terry.
All right, Arizona. Hey, what's up?
Hey, man, doesn't it seem kind of odd that, arguably the best intelligence state in the planet, a lot of people would think Jeffrey Epstein was Mossad, and that they would just let all these paragliders, or pilot, I know a little bit about them, just fly over the place and just go there and start shit. This just...
By the way, I don't want to let what you said go. Jeffrey Epstein was not Mossad. That's what people say that want to blame Israel and the Jews for his pedo-ness, okay? Jeffrey Epstein was not Israeli intelligence. That's just stupid.
You didn't hear about that. I can't quite, how do I know? Real, but people say all that. People say a lot of stuff. But anyway, could this have been, did they just kind of look the other way so they could escalate this whole thing and get Iran and everybody else involved? How did they just let this go and fly over and go to theater? It's a horrible, horrible thing what has happened here. But there's a part of me that just goes, wait a minute, what's wrong?
The reason they just let it go is because it's what we call a perfect lose-lose situation. It doesn't matter what they do. Who would you, if you had to pin this thing on one person in the world, who would you pin it on?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Is their favorite for
Biden. Yeah, but it just, but it's like if you, well, this would be like, all of a sudden, 20 paragliders come flying into Washington.
Well, let me tell you why they picked the paragliders. Okay, Israel's economy is tourism. You got two types of things going on there, right? You got the religious walks, right? Christians, Jews, and Muslims, the holy sites, and the beaches. And you're in Arizona, but here in Florida, we live on the beach here, and we got the ocean, and the beach area is filled with people flying around with parachutes, and all these different vehicles. Okay, so they use these paragliders for a couple of reasons. One, they can fit in a little bit with the beach culture and the tourist culture, and two, it's an attack in a way that's never happened before. And they had 2 people per paraglider. And there's guys. These paragliders are tiny and pretty much invisible to radar. You don't need licenses. I watch some paragliders with those parachute paragliders things that they flew in on here in this country on YouTube all the time. And these guys, they take off in their backyard and they take the paraglider to McDonald's and have lunch and land it at McDonald's. So, you don't need a license. They're pretty much invisible to radar. You don't need flight clearance. It was an attack in a way that's never happened before. And all these people that are blaming Israeli intelligence are just Netanyahu haters. There's a lot of liberals in Israel, like we have here, and they don't like Netanyahu. Okay, so they're trying to blame him for an intelligence failure. So when there's a sneak attack, they attack in a way that's never been attacked before, and that's how they win.
Part of my thing is it's so hard to believe anything anymore. That's what this is what Biden administration has done. You can't believe anything. So when anything happens, you start going, okay, where's the false flag? When you see ABC, NBC, and those guys all agreeing on stuff, it's like, okay, what's really happening? So it does make people paranoid.
Sometimes you just read too much into it. Okay, Biden is responsible in a number of reasons. One of them Trump talked about in Iowa, in his 2 speeches in Iowa. When oil was $40 a barrel, Iran and Russia didn't have a lot of money because they got to run a country. When oil is $40 a barrel, the profit margin per barrel is just a couple bucks. Now it's $100 a barrel, so there's a large profit margin. So Russia has money to invade Ukraine with, thanks to Biden, with driving the oil prices up. And Iran has money to fund terrorism again, like they're doing with Hamas and Hezbollah, through the $100 a barrel oil that Biden gave us, as well as the $6 billion he sent them. And by the way, he's been sending billions of dollars to the Palestinians since his first month in office. So Biden is directly responsible for all of this, both Russia invading Ukraine and the Iranian terrorist killing Jews in Israel right now.
Just get Trump across the line. That's the whole key. 100%. Everybody's got to.
Now you're calling from Arizona. Today's a big day. Carrie Lake is announcing today her Senate run in Arizona, and yeah, you should tell her I said hi. Okay, listen, Carrie Lake is not going to get a lot of publicity today because of the what's going on in Israel, and the media hate her. But those that cover it are going to cover it like it's a joke. Carrie Lake has a real chance here, and I'll tell you why. It's a 3-way race. Sinema, who's the sitting senator, left the Democrat Party. She's running as an independent because she didn't think she could win the Democrat primary. There's a Democrat guy running, and then there'll be Carrie Lake. So we have split the Democrat vote between Sinema and this Democrat, and Carrie Lake has a very, very good chance to win this Senate seat. Me personally, I'd rather see Carrie Lake in the Senate seat than the governor's mansion of Arizona.
The one she flew off the airplane the other day.
Yeah. All right. Take care. Appreciate the call. Now, listen, we are just a couple of short days away from Medicare open enrollment, and Medicare open enrollment is the only time of year that you can make changes to your existing Medicare policy. And Debbie from I Will Advisors, who reviews your Medicare each and every year, Steve, and her family have been with us here since 1994, each and every year, helping our listeners with their Medicare. And no matter where you are in the state of Florida, Debbie from I Will Advisors can help you. And just give her a call. She'll review your policy to make sure your prescriptions are covered, your primary care physician is covered, your specialists are covered next year. If you have a supplement, she'll make sure that you're not paying too much for that supplement. Maybe you don't even need one, all right? And you had a problem, Steve. Last year with yours, you had a prescription that cost every month is more than an ounce of gold. I'm not exaggerating. And you called Debbie, she took care of it. Now that tooth. Yeah.
Covered by my policy, so she called around till she found a company that would.
Yep. That's right. So now that $2,000 plus a month prescription is now covered by your insurance, courtesy of Debbie from I Will Advisors. Again, no matter where you are in the state of Florida, she can help. If you call early and get an answer machine, leave a message. She will call you back, all right? 954 753 8080. 954 753 8080. That's 954 753 8080. All right, now when we get back, I'll tell you what's going on in the house, Steve. And there's something really dirty going on in the house that the media are not talking about. They don't want you to think about too much. Well, after the top of the hour, okay? When we get back from the top of the hour, I'll tell you what is going on in the Republican-controlled House of Representatives.
With your build-up.
We'll find out after the top of the hour. I'm being non-committal in my tone. But I'll tell you what's going on, and you can decide. Our number, by the way, toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Robes Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Robes, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show.
Okay.
Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created. Here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're off to a great start. We're going to see partly cloudy skies today, a little more sun than yesterday, and a high of about 85 degrees. Not too much in the way of rain today, but we'll see widespread showers and storms starting Wednesday and lasting at least through Saturday. I'm WKBF 25 First Warning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw. Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Fatal crash this morning in Delray Beach has two right lanes blocked along I-95 heading southbound at Linton Boulevard. Stop through traffic is now going back to Woolbright. Turnpike heading northbound after Griffin Road. A multi-vehicle crash still off to the left shoulder. Delays go back to Hollywood. In Boynton Beach, a trash fire. Watch out for crews responding on Lions Road at Meadow Lake Drive. Another incident now on Palm Avenue south.
Oh, have any of you guys heard of the Halo app? I got the Halo app. Anyone familiar with it?
This quarter sponsored by Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles. Wendy's do breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles. Let you choose from your favorite four, including sauce or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee. Limited time only during breakfast hours. U.S. price participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price. This traffic numbers, Paul.
It's a Christian app. No, I heard Mark Wahlberg did a commercial for the Halo app. He's one of the people behind it. You know, Mark Wahlberg goes to church every morning. A lot of people don't know that. But it's a Halo, like an angel Halo. It's a Christian app where they Bible studies and daily prayers and stuff. It's pretty cool. I just got it.
Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum, 7 days a week. For more information, go to ppkennelclub.com.
The reason I asked is there's so much content there. I was asking if anybody had any favorite content. You have it? Songwriter? Yeah. I just got it this week. Did I say hollow? What did I say? It's Halo. It's Halo. Hollow. Hollow. H-A-L-L-O-W. My wife told me it's pronounced it's pronounced like hollowed. Hollow app. Like, hallowed be thy name. I thought it was Halo. I said, really? Yeah, hollow. Yes, there's 2 L's in it. H-A-L-L-O-W. But it's got a picture of someone's head, an angel with a halo over their head. That's why I said Halo.
I need invitations and posters printed, and they have to be perfect.
I need beautifully bound booklets and presentations for my business.
Your invitations and booklets will be in captivating color and will be done right every time. That's Staples'
Yeah.
big promise. And right now at Staples,
Hollow.
$50 off your print purchase of $150 or more. Try Staples and see the difference.
Hollow? Hollow. H-A... My wife's giving me the... Kathy is texting me the pronunciation. Hallow. H-A-L-L-O-W. Hallow. Hallow. Nobody knows what I'm talking about now. I shouldn't even mention it. Kathy sent me the phonetic pronunciation. Hallow. Like Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Hallow. Hey, whatever. I got so much on my mind. Hallow. Yes, part of the Lord's Prayer. It's Catholic. Hallow. I'm glad I brought it up. Oh well.
Or go to UHC.com to see your plan options. Annual enrollment begins October 15th and ends December 7th. So contact United Healthcare today and find your Medicare Advantage plan. Medicare Plan Expert is a licensed insurance sales agent or producer.
All right, here we go. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Steve Kane here. This is Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio this year. All right, so I'll tell you what's going on in the House, and then I've got this poll that I want to share with you. In fact, 2 new polls about Trump. Okay, so they're saying that the House can't function. There's no speaker, Steve. That's not true. There's an interim speaker. I don't remember the guy's name. It's not important, but yeah. And so they're running everything fine. Okay, that's just a lie that they're pushing. Okay, so don't believe any of that. The House of Representatives is fully functional, certainly more functional than the White House. Okay, where their biggest concern is getting paid with all of the money that Joe can steal, covering up the gay dating app that Joe's brother was on. Did you see that story? Oh yeah. Yeah, there's yeah. If we have time. Yeah, Jim. Yeah, he was on a gay dating site with a topless picture. Yeah. He's got it's a great family, Steve. It's got a, yeah. It's not Camelot anymore. But anyway, about the House though, this is important. One, it don't believe anything they say in the media. They have this acting speaker, and business as usual. They can do anything they want. It doesn't. That's a lie that they're trying to create a crisis and panic people. But something came out yesterday. Okay, you know how Pelosi got tossed out of her office? They put her in the closet in the basement. Kevin McCarthy did that. Kevin McCarthy did that. He was so ticked off that not one Democrat supported him that he did that, and that came out last week. But yesterday, it leaked out that Kevin McCarthy has been talking to Pelosi, and they're going to vote tomorrow on a new speaker, and Kevin McCarthy is trying to get Pelosi to back him. He's making a run to be speaker, Kevin McCarthy. He's testing the waters to see if it's doable. He's been, when he was tossed out last week, Kevin McCarthy wasn't very vocal about it. He went out a little too easy. It made me a little nervous. We talked about it a little bit. And he's been trying to corral votes to back him. And he only needs a handful of votes from the Democrats, and he's trying to return as speaker. And now when they do the vote tomorrow, it may not turn out that way, but he's been working all week doing that. And one of the things he's doing is promising Pelosi she gets her fancy office back and she can move out of the broom closet. So, and it would not surprise me I would not be surprised if it happened, because these Democrats are pretty dirty, and it could. And McCarthy's got a lot of Republicans that still back him, a lot of rhinos. So that's a pretty scary thought, Steve. So that's what's going on in the Congress about the House that I was telling you that I was going to. I thought it would be more exciting than apparently you think it is, but I think it's crazy that he thinks that he's doing this. First off, the very fact that he's negotiating with Nancy Pelosi to try to get Democrat support to return as Speaker shows you what a sleaze bucket Kevin McCarthy is. Now, I didn't say it's a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's terrible. We don't want that rhino rat that hates Trump back as Speaker. I don't want him as Speaker. It's not a good thing. It's a terrible thing. You know, there's nothing good about Kevin McCarthy other than him. No, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. You know, I mean, yeah. Well, I'm going to do that now because I've got an update on this. At the top at 6 a.m. I went over this, but I got an update on it. Okay. Yesterday, Bobby Kennedy announced he's running as an independent, and I watched his speech, and it was okay. I mean, it wasn't very motivating. I mean, I like him, but it wasn't very presidential.
Presidential with that voice.
He sounds like Katharine Hepburn. Katharine Hepburn. Yeah. And he wasn't very energetic or charismatic. And I watched his wife speak too. And the stuff that he talked about was a little weird, quite frankly. You know, I watched the unedited thing, not just the sound bites they put out there, and it was just weird, his whole speech. It was weird. He was talking about the Indians and his dad meeting with the Indians and the Indian vote and all this stuff. Yeah, his dad got 98% of the what Indian tribe that used to do the scalping? One of the scalpers tribes. I can't remember, but he got like 98% of the Indian vote from that tribe. The Apache. That's right. Yes, he got 90. His dad, the week that he died, got 98% of the Apache vote. And the chiefs told Bobby Kennedy that they're looking for the 2 that didn't vote for him. Still, all these years later, since But anyway, I was watching after Bobby Kennedy spoke. I was watching some of the media coverage of it. There wasn't a lot because of the war, okay? But they kept saying what they were saying last week, that he's going to take votes away from Trump. And they keep remember Ross Perot, which is nonsense. Ross Perot was conservative. He took votes away from Bush 41. And Clinton was elected with a minority vote, 43% or something, minority vote. So I did a poll. I asked 2 questions. I did 2 polls on my YouTube channel. The first poll, 3,600 have responded, and the second poll, 4,600 had responded. Now that's a lot. Most of the polls you see in the national news, they polled 1,200 people. Many of them they just polled 900. Some of them just 750. And I'm talking about like ABC, CNN polls, Washington Post polls, 1,200, 950. So my poll has a sample size much larger than what the national media do. And it's a Trump MAGA audience. So that's who you want to poll, right? If you're MAGA, what are you going to do? So the first question I asked, and this is after the Kennedy announcement, who are you voting for in 2024? 3,600 have responded to this poll. Are you going to vote for Trump, Kennedy, or Biden? Okay, who are you going to vote for? 2% say Biden, 3% said Kennedy, and 96% of the over 3,600, 96% said they're going to vote for Trump. So this media narrative that Bobby Kennedy is going to hurt Trump is just something they've made up. They're always working with some scheme.
Wild card races, call them, is
exactly.
Trump's loyalty people are going to show up.
Yep.
His competitor.
And then the second question I asked, and this was again after Bobby Kennedy announced yesterday and it was all over the news. The second question I asked was this. Now that Kennedy is running as an independent, Who will his run affect the most? Over 4,600 have responded to this poll question I posed. 9% say it will hurt Trump. 91% say it will hurt Biden, not Trump. So when they say that he's going to hurt Trump on TV and in the media, they just make that up. There's no, they're always running some angle where they think MAGA people are going to jump off the Trump train. And it's just, there's nothing that's going to get us to do that. And the only reason this is not 100% in both of these poll questions is we do have liberals that listen to this program. Okay? It's not 100% Trump people. So I think my poll here of our MAGA community shows that Bobby Kennedy is going to hurt Biden, and hurting Biden helps us, helps Trump. All right, we're going to take our first break of this hour. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve is here. I'm Brian. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-Kane-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Good morning, Attorney Barry Siegel.
Good morning, Brian. Good morning. How are you guys doing today? Good.
Good. What do you have for us today, Barry?
Well, one of the things that comes up when people talk about estate planning, one of the biggest goals is avoiding probate. And for many people know what it is, but for those who don't, it's going to court. It's a court process that happens after your death when you have assets in your name, which become part of your estate when you pass. And so, number one, your family, at this time, they're going through a lot. They're going through the grieving process. The last thing we want to do is leave them this whole mess behind, a mess behind of having to hire lawyers and having to go to court and dealing with a judge and having a public process, something that's going to take a long time, months if not years, for the process to occur before the assets get transferred. And it's very, very expensive. So would we rather have those assets when it could have gone to our beneficiaries, our family, our kids, our grandkids, or do we want them to go to the lawyers and the courts and to other businesses, other places that are part of the probate process? That's why, or at least one of the reasons why, setting up a revocable living trust is so important, because it helps us avoid that. Our family doesn't have to go through that mess. We can set it up so the assets can very easily be transferred from the person who created the trust, the trust maker, to the beneficiary without court interference, without the lawyers involved, without the cost, without the pain, without the stress. And that's why we want to avoid probate, and that's why a revocable living trust is so important.
Yeah, and at the Siegel Law Group, you will review at no charge people's documents. So if someone has a will or a trust that they had prepared by someone else, you review those at no charge. How often do you look at someone's documents that are years old, and they come in and they're shocked that so many things aren't covered, Barry?
I don't know if they're necessarily shocked when they come in with documents that are some of the more common things are they're from out of state, so they know that they need to be updated to be Florida or Floridaized. They know that maybe they name maybe their parents as trustees who may no longer be with us, so they know they need to update the people or the fiduciaries that are in there. They may realize once they understand the concept of bloodline protection that they don't have the bloodline protection protecting their children from future divorces, lawsuits, creditors, all those kinds of things. So there are a host of reasons why people would come in and they know that their documents are out of date. Like, a simple one here is somebody comes in and did a will 10, 20 years ago, and now their estate is much different, and a will is not going to be the right the right tool for them. A revocable living trust is going to be important for them now. So it's very obvious to many people. And then some people, they may not understand the bloodline protection. They may not understand language that could help them protect their assets from the cost of long-term care, language we put in the power of attorney that they don't have. There are a lot of things that, of course, they don't know that aren't in there that can make a huge difference. So for all that.
Absolutely. Now listen, it's always a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group. If you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the radio. So get in touch, and no matter where you are in the state of Florida, the Siegel Law Group can help. You can find them online at siegellawgroup.com or call toll-free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk later in the week.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, back after this.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies FLA.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. So Hamas, I mean, I don't know. Do you believe they are saying, Hamas is saying that they're going to start executing hostages and show it online. Do you think they're going to do that, Steve?
It's anybody's guess. It's hard.
I mean, my goodness. I mean, if they, the people that, it's bad enough when they kidnap soldiers, which happens. But the people we're seeing are babies and civilians, and they're not all Israeli either. And God help the world if they kill one of these hostages. I mean, what is Israel's reaction to that going to be? I mean, they're gonna have to take back Gaza and hold it strong for many years to come.
Israel will be influenced at all by what Joe Biden says?
No. Nope. They can't. No, and I think it's going to be quick too, because it's amazing to me how many liberals that are sympathetic to the terrorists there are in Israel. And I've been watching online a lot of news out of Israel that are with liberal Jews and liberal Israelis, and they want Netanyahu out. They think that he's too much of a hardliner. So, and you know, when you're a prime minister, it's a lot. You don't have to wait for years and years to get rid of a prime minister. It's not like here; they can call for an election. So Netanyahu's got to move quick because he's got the leftist on his back. I don't understand liberal Jews, in particular Israelis, that want him out and want to appease these murdering terrorists. I don't understand that. I can't. I don't.
Liberal is a liberal is a liberal.
But it doesn't mean I understand it.
In the same irrational manner that
Yeah.
American liberals.
Well, so Netanyahu's got to react quickly and in this, because if they push him out of office, which they can do in Israel, I mean, it's a parliamentary system, and so no, I don't think anyone knows. I mean, to do that during a time of war, I don't know, but he can't bet on it being difficult, so he's got to move quickly while he's still in power before there's any, even a slight possibility. I would think it's unlikely they can take him out of office. But even with the slight possibility, whoever they replace him with isn't going to do what he's going to do. So he's got to do it. He's got to do it quick. And if they let these terrorists get away with killing just one hostage, God help us all. God help us all. And I'll say this to you guys too. Don't watch any of that footage online. The kidnappings and the murders. I mistakenly saw one this morning before I came to the radio station, where they executed that kid that was pretending to be dead next to his car at the music festival. And it's been in my head all morning. These are things you cannot unsee. You do not want to see them. Okay? All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Patty from New Jersey.
Hey, Patty.
If you think for 1 minute that those animals will not do what they're saying they're going to do, you're mistaken. They've done it before. Remember the guy in the cage? Remember all the beheadings of journalists? They will absolutely 100% do what they say they're going to do. They're using these people as human shields, because they said every time you send a missile into Hamas, we're going to carry out one of these executions. So it's going to happen. And war is war. I watched one of the Israel generals yesterday.
Well, wait, slow down for a second. Slow down for a second. I know everyone's calling it a war. Israel declares war. This is like having an Al Qaeda army running through you're in New Jersey. So imagine if after 9/11, this is what happened. We had 9/11, and then we had Al Qaeda running through New York City and New Jersey, house to house, looking for Jews. I mean, my goodness. I mean, this is something this is not a war. This is, yeah.
Yes, it's not. These people are animals, and this is my point, Brian. And I'm always afraid to say something because I'm afraid I'm going to get dumped, and I'm not going to say anything terrible because I don't know.
Well, I'll be the judge of that. I'll be the judge. Well, if you think it might be unacceptable, you probably shouldn't say it.
Right, but that's what I mean. Is like I don't know how. I mean, I've heard other people say certain things and it's gone through, so I'm very careful. But these people are animals, and I fear for the whole world at this point because these people have traveled all over the world. So they could start up one of these assaults anywhere. Where they go.
Well, look at that footage in New York City yesterday, and that, by the way, was the second day in a row of that. Those people scared the living daylights out of me. They're wearing masks made of the Palestinian flag, and there's no way that doesn't terrify New Yorkers. Seeing that yesterday, did you see that, Steve?
It hurt.
Oh my goodness, the Palestinians marching through New York City yesterday. Oh!
Is they all want to come here for a better life, yet they don't leave their beliefs back home and try to adapt to our way of living. And, like I said, they will 100%. We've seen it before. We're going to see it again. And people need to not feed into it and not watch it. Do it because and it's too bad. I mean, Google has no problem censoring.
Well, part of the problem with what's going on here and how this happened is because Biden has the intelligence community focused on MAGA as opposed to terrorist. That's part of the problem. Listen, I gotta run for our break. Take care. If you're on hold, stand by. Back to your calls after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're off to a great start. We're going to see partly cloudy skies today, a little more sun than yesterday, and a high of about 85 degrees. Not too much in the way of rain today, but we'll see widespread showers and storms starting Wednesday and lasting at least through Saturday. I'm WQBF 25 First Warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
95 southbound between Atlantic Avenue and Linton Boulevard. All lanes are now shut down now by Favorable TV. Crash happened earlier in the morning. Heavy traffic on the approach right now. And the I-95 southbound area from Atlantic Avenue is also closed by police activity. I-95 southbound to Linton Boulevard, the on-ramp right lane is blocked there by emergency vehicles. As far as the surface streets go, we have accidents on Lawrence Road and Woodbright Road, Bryan Road and Meadow Lake Drive. Also on Military Trail just south of Lantana Road. This report is sponsored by InvisibleFence.com. Invisible Fence brand is more than a fence. They offer what no other pet containment company can. Pets and technology combined with hands-on training to ensure protection for your pet while allowing them to enjoy more of their yard. Visit InvisibleFence.com today to learn more about what sets them apart. This traffic on this morning.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. It's showtime. PBKC. Get your tickets now for exciting live events in the paddock. Enjoy dinner and a show with the Rat Pack now on Friday, October 20th. Let It Be, ultimate tribute to the Beatles on November 17th. And Chris McDonald's Merry Christmas Baby December 15th. Then get ready to laugh out
Oh.
If your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. Tom Laporta will give you a free evaluation. Laporta Contracting was voted one of the best general contractor and best roofers in South Florida. He's honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and will never sell you a roof you don't need. If you have an insurance claim, call your insurance company.
Oh, man.
Then call Tom Laporta. New laws are in effect that allow Tom to negotiate directly with your insurance company on the cost of all repairs, so you don't necessarily need to employ a public adjuster or a lawyer. Tom can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, laportacontracting.com.
Now you can rediscover paradise with Margaritaville at Sea, the only cruise line offering sailings from the port of Palm Beach to Grand Bahama Island.
We'll be back shortly, guys. If you're on hold, hang in there.
Relax your senses at the St. Somewhere Spa, or revitalize the night with live musical performances and refreshing Caribbean breezes. From pickleball to piano bar and everything in between. Come see for yourself why guests are loving the newly refreshed Margaritaville at Sea paradise. Go to margaritavilleatsea.com to learn more and get a great deal on your next Bahamas cruise.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. Brian Craig here, telling you about our 5th annual listener cruise. And you're all invited, except Liberal Al. Liberal Al, you're not invited. But the rest of you are. We leave April 27th on board the Celebrity Beyond, the flagship of celebrity cruises. We're going to the ABC Islands, Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba. We have shore excursions at every port, and I'll be on them all with you. We'll have dinner together every night, private cocktail parties. We'll go to Broadway shows together and dance till the clubs close every night. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot and book your reservation at 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on.
All right, Carlos on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve is here. I'm Brian. You want to go back to the phone, Steve? What do you want to do? All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. You're on the air.
Oh, good morning, Brian. This is Bob in Baltimore.
Hey.
How are you? Oh, hey, Steve. I'm good. Well, as good as I can be in these times. What's happening right now? I'm very distressed about all these people in New York and all these people that are out there protesting what is happening, what has already happened. This massacre, raping and killing and beheading people in the street, and the people who are defending that. I'm just hoping that we give them what they want. Isn't it death what they want? Don't they want, is that what the caliphate or whatever, to whoever it is that they're worshiping, is it death supposed to be glorified? Give it to them. That's what they want give it to
You know, have you noticed that in these kidnappings, they only seem to, for the most part, they seem to be kidnapping pretty girls.
pretty girls.
I mean, they're monsters. It's yeah.
Just that, Monsters is being kind to these people. And as far as I'm concerned, and I hope I can say this, a parking lot.
All right, I don't know what that means. But okay, okay, but I don't like where it's going. Um, oh my goodness. Oh my! Oh, by the way, this weekend, Steve, I'm going to Orlando. I'm taking the high-speed train, the Bright Line. Hey, are we doing? Do we have spots, Mike, running for the Bright Line? No. Okay, I can talk about it. 96 people have been killed by the Bright Line, and more people have died per mile on the Bright Line than any other train on the rails of America. In fact, it's the deadliest train in America. So I'm taking the Bright Line. Well, I've never been on a high-speed train before. It goes 130 miles an hour, and yeah, and so I'm taking the Bright Line train. I've been on it before. Before it went, it just recently started going to Orlando a couple weeks ago. I took it to Miami from Palm Beach once, and I'm taking the Bright Line to Orlando this weekend. And I was watching one guy that made a video about it. They almost hit a semi truck. And he said that he made a YouTube video about it. The horn was blaring on the train, and the engineer came to a dead stop from their high speed. And they missed the semi. It goes as fast as 130 miles an hour when it's between Cape Canaveral and Orlando. Yeah, and the guy said that made the travel video that if you hit someone, that it can cause a couple hour delay. So it seems like an odd thing I'm going to make a YouTube video about it. That's why I'm doing it, guys. Everything I do is for a YouTube video, but I have to plan this is what's crazy, Steve. I have to plan. I live just a few minutes away from one of the Bright Line stations. So now that it's going to Orlando, I'm going to do. I have to plan my trip up and back to Orlando with a couple of extra hours just in case. And I don't know. That's really not a, you sure we're not doing spots for Bright Line on the radio station? Okay, I don't want to mess up the account. But hopefully nothing will happen. I mean, it's a very luxurious train. I've been on it before, but it's just such a weird thing, Steve. They say they're mostly suicides. I don't know. That semi truck didn't look like he was committing suicide. It just seems like, what it is with the high-speed train. When people come up to the crossing, they think they can beat the train. You lose perspective, I guess, on the distance with the speed, and people try to make it. And I narrowly missed many years ago a train hitting a gas truck. I told you about this on Cypress Creek Road in Fort Lauderdale back in the 90s. And I was just like a couple of minutes after that happened, and it killed a lot of people. And I'm not making fun of the train accidents, but don't try to beat the train, guys, especially this weekend when I'm going to be on the Bright Line, because I don't really have time to be the. But oh my goodness. And but you know what the thing is? I remember when they had that value jet crash in the Everglades, Steve, years ago? I had to take an emergency flight to Atlanta, and the only flight I could get was on value jet. I had to go that day, and it was a family emergency. The only flight I could get was on value jet. And I flew with my mother-in-law, and this was right after the crash in the Everglades of Value Jet. I remember I was at the Fort Lauderdale Air Show when the crash happened, and when we took off, they announced that everyone got free alcohol the whole flight, and because people were scared. They just had the crash in the Everglades and were flying on the airline. So I don't fly first class. I can't afford that. But everyone got free drinks, so I was drinking whiskey. Everyone was liquored. They wanted us liquored up to take the edge off. And when we landed in Atlanta, everyone on the plane started clapping. And I was with someone in my family, and I said, well, what does that say about this, that everyone's like clapping that we landed without crashing? I mean, that's, it was crazy. So, so I kind of feel that way on the Brightline's not as serious as that, because no one's been injured actually on the train. It's just been people on the track, and they do say they're mostly suicides. But that is, it's just so strange that you have to factor something in like that when you're traveling. All right, anyway, guys, if any, it'll be this weekend, and I'll tell you guys Monday how it went, and I'm sure it will go fine. So what's going on right now, though, two things here. One of the Republicans in the House is entering a resolution to require Tlaib to take down the Palestinian flag that we were talking about yesterday. I hope that passes. And that Palestinian flag does not belong in the halls of Congress. It just doesn't. I mean, and I hope that wins. But President Trump has posted something on Truth Social about Ron DeSantis that is hilarious, and it's got to be freaking out DeSantis, okay? Now, I've told you guys many times there has not been a president under 6 foot tall in the age of television, okay? They say Ronald Reagan was 5'11". I don't know if I believe that. The media hate him. Ronald Reagan, they always did, but if he was 5'11" when he was president, he used to be 6 foot, and he shrunk because he was elderly. And Ron DeSantis, if you Google it online, it says he's 5'9". That's total BS, okay? And I told you, when I was with him at Wings Plus, I've told you guys this many, many times, he came out, everyone stood up, and of course, just like with the Brightline this weekend, I'm making a YouTube video, and I hear him talking, and I know he's like 2-3 feet in front of me, because I can hear his voice. He was talking on a microphone with speakers, but I could hear DeSantis, not with the speakers, with his real voice, with my ears. I was that close, and I couldn't find him. And then I realized quickly I was looking too high. I looked down, and there he was, right in front of me. And he wears cowboy boots. And I've mentioned that the reason that he wears, at first, until I saw DeSantis in person, I've seen him in person a couple times before that, but he was always on stage. I never saw him at the same level I'm at when I was at Wings Plus, right, on Sample Road in Coral Springs, our sponsor. And I thought that he wore cowboy boots because he's a good old Florida boy, right? And old Florida boys wear cowboy boots. And then I quickly realized that he wears cowboy boots because they're heels to elevate him. Well, President Trump posted on Truth Social screenshots of Ron DeSantis on Bill Maher's show and says that he's wearing hidden high heels. And I'll share this with you. Donald Trump took to Truth Social on Monday to make the argument that Ron DeSantis wears heels. Amid a slew of posts about the conflict in Israel, the Chinese Communist Party, and his legal troubles Monday, Trump posted 3 screenshots from Ron DeSantis' appearance last month on Bill Maher's show with a special focus on Ron DeSantis' boots. And he actually highlighted the boots. He says, tell me, this is what Trump says, tell me he's not wearing hidden heels, the image read, alongside zoomed-in snaps of DeSantis' cowboy boots. And sure enough, Steve, not only does he have cowboy boots that have a large heel on them, there's a hidden heel that's covered up by the leather on the boot. One of the photos features a yellow line over Ron DeSantis' leg, showing where his foot is in connection to the heel of the boot. The photos Trump shared on Truth Social appear to originate from a TikTok video, which says that DeSantis has been wearing high-heeled boots during all of his appearances, including Bill Maher's show. And when you look at these pictures, he's wearing specialty boots that have a hidden heel, and the way that the leather is on the boot, it covers up part of the high heel. So, but my question isn't whether or not he's wearing high heels. If you guys could go during the break to Trump's Truth Social account, how high are these heels, ladies? Because ladies in the audience, you know about heels. These are like stilettos, high heels. And until Trump I knew he was wearing the heels, but I didn't realize how high the heels are until I saw this picture that President Trump put on Truth Social. And I'll tell you, Steve, these are like, what are those high heels like Barbie wears? Where the foot is, I mean, it's like almost like a 90-degree angle. Well, you know how the lady's foot's like a 90-degree angle? Spikes? Okay, I don't know about heels, but you know, I guess you do. But that's what they're like. He wears like Barbie doll kind of size heels. But anyway, we'll take a break, and if any of you ladies out there could go to Trump's Truth Social and look at these photographs and tell me how high you would estimate the heels are on Ron DeSantis's boots. Yeah, pumps. So I've heard of pumps before. Yeah, they're like pumps. Is what? But I'm not a woman, or you know, or one of those other guys. So I don't know about heels. But you ladies in the audience, or maybe we have some transgendered listeners, go to Trump's Truth Social during the break. Look at the picture and tell me how high you think those heels are. I'm going to guess about 5 inches. All right, we'll take a break and be right back.
A cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. Yesterday was Columbus Day, which is a bank holiday. Today, William Youngerman and the banks are open. William Youngerman, how are the metals starting off today?
Metals are giving us a little bit of a pullback after yesterday's huge run-up. Gold getting up as high as $1,875, closing out the day around $1,860.90, which is still up $27.80 on, of course, what the news was going on. The real start of this
Trump
rally started on Friday.
The foot is there,
put in the key reversal when
and
gold
the
got
heel
down
is
to
here.
about $1,810, then turned around and moved up with a vengeance to close
See that?
up significantly. Then
can you see?
Saturday took place and the war broke out, pushing gold up dramatically even higher. There's a high of $1,875 yesterday before pulling back and closing up $27.80 at $1,860.90. Silver was up 27 cents yesterday, closing at $21.86 the ounce. Platinum gained $9 at $886, and palladium continues its downward trend that it's been in for quite a while now, down another $26 yesterday at $1,108, numbers that we haven't seen on palladium in a long time. Gold this morning trading in a range overnight between $1,852 and $1,866, and right now we're at $1,855, which is down $5.90. And as I mentioned yesterday, usually these situations where we have wars that break out, things of this nature, usually gives a pretty good spike up on the metals for about a day or two, and then we see it pull back, settle down, and we then have an opportunity to go in and buy, which is what we recommended everybody do yesterday, hold off until today. So today is giving us that little buying opportunity of a pullback. We're gold at $1,855, down $5.90. Silver's down 16 cents at $21.70. Platinum's losing $3 right now at $8.83, and palladium's down another $11 at $1,097. Oil's running at $86 a barrel, off from the $90 high that we saw about a week ago, and the dollar is still relatively very strong.
Now, you were telling us last week, William Youngerman, that when it comes to gold, the best buy for the coins is the Australian kangaroo. Is that still the case?
Yes, it is. Gold bars are cheaper, but from the coin standpoint, the Australia's Perth Mint, beautiful 1 ounce kangaroos, pure 999 fine coins are our favorite pick.
Yeah, you know, and I was in the other day and I took a look at those Australian kangaroos. They are beautiful coins, and they come from the Perth Mint, right? Which is that's a sovereign mint from the country Australia. Yeah, yeah.
In plastic to protect them because they're 4/9 pure fine gold, which makes them very soft. So that gives them a good protection so they don't get scratched up.
Well, that's amazing. Yeah, they are gorgeous. You can see like your reflection in them. The gold is so beautiful in those kangaroos. Listen, William Youngerman is open today. He opens at 10 a.m. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building. just east of US 1 Federal Highway. When you walk into the lobby, William Youngerman is directly across from the Bank of America. Online at williamyoungerman.com or give him a call, toll free, 1 800 327 5010. 1 800 327 5010. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
Back after this.
Take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right. Welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Okay, during the break, Steve, someone told me that the boots that he is wearing, Ron DeSantis, are known as, again, I don't know about heels. That's why I'm asking people, are known as hidden platform shoes. Hidden platform shoes. And I've gotten an estimate that the heel looks to be about a 5-inch heel. Now, as far as I don't know if a 5-inch heel is considered a extremely high heel, a medium. I don't know, but a hidden platform shoe. And you know what I'm curious about is, are those custom made? I wonder if they're custom made. And the reason I ask, I know people think I'm being. You think I'm being petty, Steve?
I don't know.
Oh well, I appreciate the support. My partner. This is what I'm curious about with the boots. Okay, and I know this sounds petty, and perhaps it is. It probably is, but I want to know when he started wearing these particular boots, because I'm looking. I went to President Trump's Truth Social and looked at the picture again during the break. Those got to be custom made. That's not something you buy off the rack, okay? You can't go to the mall and buy those. They have to be custom made. And I've never had custom shoes made. It's got to be expensive. And what I'm wondering is, did Karl Rove, Bush, and Paul Ryan have those elevator shoes made for him, the elevated boots? Or has he had these for a long time? So if anybody has any information, any speculation or thoughts, and you may be asking, why be so petty? Well, I want DeSantis out of the race, and he lied to us, and I feel betrayed. So, maybe there's a little bit of revenge about, because he, lied to us all and lied to Trump and didn't stand up for Trump when Bragg came to town to arrest him and all this stuff. And no, he's in second place still, and he's still hanging in there, but it shows just more deception on his part. Own it. Dukakis went around. Look, it didn't. I don't remember Dukakis wearing hidden platform shoes, and when he drops out of the presidential race, and he can't get reelected to any office because he's unelected forever, he could start up a very unique business, and his first client could actually be Jill Biden. He could teach women how to walk in high heels. He maybe to me, I find it funny that a man, Ron DeSantis, who about half of his platform is going up against transgendered things, and he's walking around in high heels. A man in high heels. His chief thing is taking on the transgendered people. I just find that a little comical. That's another reason I bring it up. It's mostly I'm pissed off at him for lying to us and stuff like that. But the media should point out that this man against drag queens is wearing boots that a drag queen would probably love to wear. But he certainly could start a business teaching transgendered men and women how to properly walk in high heels. And Jill Biden cannot walk in heels. I see her walking, and it's pretty embarrassing. But there are bigger fish to fry, Steve, other than the high heels of Ron DeSantis. Listen, what's going on in Israel right now has a secondary effect on the presidential election. Okay, now whatever Biden says today, it's going to be meaningless, okay? I don't expect him to, mean anything that he says and all of that. He's going to say all the right things probably today, for the most part, except he's not going to mention that we're cutting off all U.S. aid to the Palestinians. I don't expect that. And I don't expect him to announce that he's not going to send the $6 billion to Iran still, if they haven't already sent it. I don't expect anything like that. But for the most part after that, he's going to tell us everything we want to hear. But in the long term, I've told you guys this all year long, that part of the Biden strategy is that no American president has lost re-election while America has been at war. And with what's going on in Israel, this is not, whatever Netanyahu does, it's not going to be the end of it. What's going to happen in Israel probably is we're going to be back to the 80s and 90s when this settles, right? When the current conflict is settled, the chances are we're going to be back to a period where there's suicide, homicide bombings every couple of weeks on a semi-regular basis in the news, okay? And Joe Biden will use this and the war in Ukraine to try to win re-election, because no president has lost re-election in time of war. So in either of these conflicts, he doesn't want either of them to end. It's in his political best interest to keep both wars going until after the election. And I thought it was interesting, Steve, in one of Trump's speeches in the last couple of days, I can't remember which one, but he said that he has to limit what he says a little bit because of the Logan Act. You know, I've never heard a presidential candidate say such a thing. So he says he's got to be a little careful because of that. And, you know, the thing about the Iranian terrorists that are kidnapping and killing Jews right now, and the media are having a lot of coverage talking about some type of peace talks between the Palestinians and Israel. Netanyahu said no peace talks, and that's the right way. I mean, you can't have peace talks with people who do not think you have a right to exist. They don't recognize Israel and do not believe that Israel has a right to exist. Peace talks are just a ruse to get more land back from Israel. And I keep hearing people say that Israel is about the size of New Jersey. I think that's an old talking point. I think that's before they got Gaza, because I'm looking at that map and Israel looks a lot smaller than it used to because they've given so much land to the Palestinians. So, you know, no matter what Israel were to give the Palestinians, it's never going to stop their terrorism, because they believe all Jews should be dead, okay? And you can't negotiate with people who think that you don't have a right to live. Now, I want to tell everyone, if you are retired or you're planning on retiring at some point in your future, whether it's 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 years, call Joe Thomas. He's got 2 things here he's offering you at no charge, which are a pretty good deal. You know, he's a financial expert. He's been doing this for many, many decades. And he also has a show right here on our radio station, True Oldies. And he's offering 2 things to you guys out there, and this is pretty amazing. He's offering for free a copy of his book, The Retirement Know-It-All. You just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com, click on the book link, and you'll get the free book, Retirement Know-It-All. It is a quick read, it's an easy read, and it's filled with lots of actionable, good information for those of you that plan on retiring, semi-retiring, or already are retired. But what he's also offering are free phone consultations. No matter where you're located, you can call financial expert Joe Thomas and schedule a free phone consultation, which is a pretty good deal and an amazing offer. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. Again, that's 561-743-0999, or online, jupiterjoe.com. But yeah, so you know, don't fall for what they're telling you there's a lot of things that they're telling us in the American media right now that are not true. Number one, that the United States cannot do anything to help Israel because we don't have a speaker right now. That's not true. That's just them making an excuse for Joe Biden's inaction and the barbecue he had over the weekend. It's also what I was talking to you earlier about McCarthy. Okay, that is a real thing that he is trying to corral votes to get reelected as speaker tomorrow. And I would say it's probably 70-30 against, but there is a chance that that will happen because there's a war going on. And they're trying to convince people, and a lot of constituents of members of Congress think that the House cannot function, and they don't want to have 15 votes. So I would say there's about a 30% chance that Kevin McCarthy could come back as Speaker. No, that's god awful. That's the worst thing that could happen. We want him out of Congress, Kevin McCarthy. So we don't want him in Congress. We don't want him Speaker. We want him retired to California. Okay, he can hang out there all he wants. Well, it depends on Trump. It depends on how many votes. Well, Trump is definitely going to hopefully be picking the Speaker. Well, listen, we're all out of time for today, but we will be back tomorrow. My name is Brian. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. If you missed a portion of the show, go to our website, trueoldiesfla.com. God bless America. God bless Trump. See you tomorrow.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9
All right, guys.
FM, and in Martin County on 106.9
I'll see you in a bit.